I was gonna say, Richard Nixon is kind of like the Boss Gungans from Star Wars Episode 1, except as a middle-aged white guy.
Okay, so the picture where I'm just staring at the ceiling and with this look of I wanna die. See, I sent that to my at the time boyfriend and said I wanna die, and he sent a sad emoticon, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'll be more cheerful, and then posted the other two. And I just really liked the lighting on the one smile without teeth, because look at it.
You mean because the one with teeth kind of looks like you're ready to murder everyone around you?
Well, the other one doesn't not look like that, but...
No, the other one looks like you did murder everyone around you, and you hit that moment of serenity.
Exactly. Right, yeah.
Alright, we are going to get started for tonight.
Not wearing pants in those pictures. Because it's a video interview, and I get to put, the rest of that beneath a desk.
I'm never wearing pants for these sessions. I'm kidding.
And
I
Jeff,
like pants too much.
I'm more partial to your... Jeff, I'm more partial to your picture where you just show your neck. It's a freaky picture.
People who have had beards for an upwards of 10 years, getting on social media and posting pictures of them without beards, it's just stop! Who are you? I've never known this person before in my life.
I look like John Goodman without a beard. It's scary.
That is nothing to be scared of. That's something to be proud of. John Goodman is a national treasure. I'm pretty sure he's American.
My dad looks like a tall Danny DeVito without his facial hair.
Still not an insult.
I think we're underway, guys.
Yeah. Welcome to the Ilderon Tales. This is group this is group selfie. This is group A, Sky of Wolves, episode 8. And we do not have a full party tonight. I'll be controlling Tobias in a Tobias intensive RP. Wonderful. Otherwise, everybody else is here, and we'll be controlling their characters. We are playing...
For
Go ahead.
2 hours of Brandon talking to himself.
I know, right? We are playing Dungeons & Dragons tonight. It is a role-playing game, and everything you are going to see tonight is going to be live storytelling. Finally, we're playing in a homebrewed setting. The world is Ilderon. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to www.ilderontales.com. And if you're under the age of 14, please consult your parents before watching this stream. I might say some not very nice words about people. And before we get started tonight, does anybody want to ask a question about the world, story, or setting? Which I think the setting technically counts as the world. Because I'll pick something at random.
How did Dila make the Darkened Veil support Terrai life?
Oh, that's a really good question. So there is a whole druidic ritual on the nation of Rion, which is one of the reasons Rion is not involved in the Nazaram cause. If you've ever noticed, Nazaram is not made up of any elves, and elves that join Nazaram normally get exiled from their culture. No undead can step foot on the nation of Rion because they have put a massive binding ritual of life on it. And any undead that tries is incinerated with radiant energy. Dela was one of the first druids to, leave Rion and was very aware of this magic affecting the land. And so she knew the cleansing, hallowing ritual on Rion. And once she had a more astute understanding of arcane magic, she knew how to reverse it. So it's the same exact spell, only cast in reverse. So rather than destroying undead, it supports them. There isn't a technical spell for it inside of, the player's handbook. But if I had to describe it as a spell effect, it would be like a heightened, widened metamagic hallowed spell. In the player's handbook, the first publishing, the hollow spell is, for holy stuff, but in later revisions of the player's handbook, the hallowed spell becomes hollow/desecration, and it would be the desecration effect. But yeah, she knew it and she did it. And
Did you mean undeath to death?
I don't
It's a
know.
3.5 spell that destroys undead. If you took a reverse engineered version of that, that's basically what it would.
Yeah, it would be something very similar to that. It was inspired by, if you remember from Lord of the Rings, because a lot of this I did want to borrow from traditional elements of fantasy when creating the world, but I also wanted to add like new things everywhere I can. So Ilderon, for the most part, is pretty weird for a fantasy setting, but then I do try and call back to a lot of like classic fantasy stuff so people just aren't completely thrown for a loop. And if you remember in Lord of the Rings, there's like the elven lands, the ringwraiths can't step foot on it, or they can't step foot across the water because of reasons, and I don't know, I would just party rock in Rivendell forever. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, and we'll jump into the session. I'm moving over to go to the live campaign, and I just see this weird picture. Okay.
Right.
Let's do the recap for last session. Does anybody want to do it, or do you guys want me to run through it? It was a pretty short and simple session.
Go ahead.
Hit it.
All right. Last session started off on the 28th of Hunter. Your party had information that a prophet was specialized in Earthfire magic and history relating to the Earthfire, and half of the party sought her out. Going to her and asking more questions, you guys were very accurately able to identify what Earthfires were once capable of, and then she informed you that they were no longer capable of that. After providing her a sample of the Earthfire crystals that Elena has been creating, she used them she attempted to use them and found out that they worked just like the Earthfires of old. She was able to use the crystal to modify her magic, which made it significantly much more, that's unneeded, significantly more potent, and the crystal was consumed in the process. The flames it created also then were able to spread, which is an effect that has not been seen from Earthfires in about 500 years was the last time one was available. Moving on from... Oh, go ahead.
Flames being spread, does that mean that they remanifested as flames and stayed manifest as flames? Or
so since you weren't here, I'll give the exact description of what happened. So she cast a spell, and she said... one of the things that makes Earthfire magic so powerful is it on contact it destroys undead, and it destroys demons, and it destroys fiends, and it burns, and it's a horrific experience to them, but it cannot harm anything with a soul. So she then cast a spell using the flames of the Earthfire, and explained that the other thing is it can't set fire to organic material. And it did set fire to the organic material. She said current Earthfires have lost the ability to set fire to organic material. And so it did set fire to organic material, indicating that the Earthfires that had not been working this whole time, because all of the Earthfires, if you were to think of them as like an ignition, or if you were to think of them like as a lighter, rather than a flame coming out from them, they're just spewing sparks. They're just like not working properly. And so these crystals, basically, however Elena focused them, were making the Earthfire, or were the Earthfire's magic could function properly. So she cast a spell on the torch. The torch lit a flame, and she was amazed that it did so. Because one reason, like, if Earthfire magic is so potent, there are 4 huge Earthfires in the world. Why do people, not take torches from these Earthfires and just, carry the fires everywhere? It's because you can't move an Earthfire's flame, because nothing lights from it. Anyways, after that, to test to see if the flame was, the white flame that was on the torch was an actual Earthfire magic, or if it was just fancy magical fire, Soulmane put his hand to it. Soulmane put his hand inside of the flame, and his glove caught on fire, but Soulmane's hand and skin were completely fine, as it could not hurt him because he had a soul. Moving on from there, you guys left the torch with her, and she said she was going to try and find ways to extend its flame, and informed you guys that there is an eternal burning torch of the very first flame of an Earthfire. It is kept in a museum on the other side of the world, which to this day has, before this discovery of the crystal you guys brought her, was the only way to study old Earthfire magic. The party left that torch with her, went back to the university, shared the information that they'd learned with their companions. Their companions decided that they needed to start pursuing allies to defend the Galcan Earthfire and start bringing together those who would not work well together. And Tobias sent a sending to the Empress saying, hey, this is something you should consider. She responded in tow by teleporting to the university with Sonatols and her heir, Jessica Veda. And the party had a brief back and forth discussion with her, and ultimately I had not decided on a course of action yet. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything? All right.
I think we're covered.
Let's go with some suspicious music. Because suspense is always good when dealing with the Darkened Veil. Alright, it is the 28th of Hunter. It is moving into the evening, and I will say mid-evening. You are in the city of Sky's Reach. You are in the magical university known as Maphis University. Inside of the room is the entirety of the party, which includes the undead wizard, Tobias, the half-orc barbarian, Ogun, the human rogue monk, Fractus, the half-elf, half-Asimir, Assassin, Soulmane, the shattered paladin, Teak, the rock gnome, Sindri, and I'm missing somebody.
Just like a...
Well, no, I'm about to go through all of them. Oh, that is everybody. Cool. And then, yes, additionally with you guys is Jessica, Sema, and Elizabeth. Alright. And I am going to, on my own, pull up the notes from last session. Bless Rob for making these, so I can see where the conversation ended. Tobias agrees to give his assertion to his studies, and the party's talking about what they learned. Elizabeth expresses that she's been trying to convince Dila assistance in handling Olivia, perhaps this moment of crisis. Olivia then expresses disappointment at the fact the party are not the ones who rescued Jessica. Tobias mentions his growing lack of faith in Dila, which Elizabeth states that Dila has always been an ally of the Vale and has given her gifts to their people. Yes, so that was the last thing mentioned. Elizabeth told the party that Dila was the one who cast the ritual on the darkened veil that darkened the skies and killed the land. And there is a mild amount of tension here as the three emissaries are standing in front of the party. Does anybody want to say anything?
How are your lands faring?
Asking Elizabeth that. She is going to respond and say, Heimsdale still raids us. Heimsdale still raids our borders, and a never-ending daily struggle. However, they're the least of our concerns. With the chaos that's consumed the force of Jan Baharin, the Archblight presses at our shores each day.
So that's a similar state that it's been in for a while then.
She's going to nod and speak up and say, one of the beauties of the Vale is that it never changes. One of the struggles of the Vale is that it never changes.
Well, I'm glad it hasn't worsened then.
After several moments of standing here, she's going to nod to the party. Jessica and Sona will give a small bow and say, well, I need to speak with that old witch. Tobias, my feather, you're welcome back in the Vale anytime you so choose it.
Practice is going to interrupt and say, well, I was going to wait for Tobias, since he knows you, to broach this subject, but unfortunately we need your help. And he's going to pull out a deck of cards, and he's going to play, like he's going to cut the deck with one hand while he's talking, just to give him like some nervous energy, to give him something to do.
Okay.
And he's just like gonna like flip cards from the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top, just to help him with what he's trying to say. And he's gonna say, we realize that this is probably a big ask, and before I ask it, what can we do to help you?
Elizabeth is going to say, I think introductions beyond just your names and titles are in order. What the Darkened Veil requires is allies that can influence Nazaram, that can influence Heimsdale.
Practice is going to say, well, I'm a simple gambler, but I am part of the Chantry of Emiya, of the Unrepentant. Teak here is my commanding officer, and we can definitely help you in a lot of your regards. We know that Umiya is strong in your lands, and we would love to strengthen it further. And then Practice is going to look at Teak and kind of go like, hey, introduce yourself with a glance.
Teak nods and steps forward. My name is Teak Hilmani Kalfira. I am, to some degree, the commanding officer of this contingent.
Elizabeth is, well, actually, no, not Elizabeth. Sono would speak up and say, you speak with the sight of the third eye, guardian of Agham's Gambit, Refier of the New World, the redeemed and undying empress of the Darkened Vale. Elizabeth is going to speak up and say, were you aware I was there when your goddess ascended?
Teak glances around. Not particularly. I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how that's relevant.
Practice is very impressed right now.
She's going to nod and say, well, make your case.
Practice is going to jump in and say, we're going to try something that hasn't been done in thousands of years. We're going to try to set up a truce between your country and Himsdale. The fate of the world is resting in y'all's hands. And if you can come together and sue for peace for a little while, we may be able to beat back these offenders who are trying to destroy the Earthfires. Were you aware that the Earthfires have been destroyed in this part of the country?
She's going to... Oh, go ahead.
Practice is going to name the places. Shelby doesn't remember what they are, but
Hearthfire.
Practice would know.
Hearthfire and Amira's Song are the two Earthfires that were destroyed. You were going to say something, Steve?
Yes, they haven't been technically destroyed, they've been transformed.
Practice is going to shrug.
Into crystals.
Practice is going to shrug and say, it's almost the same thing. Tobias, if you want to show her the crystal, you're welcome to.
Well, there's a chance they can be restored in some fashion. So destroyed is a bit premature at this point.
Well, they're gone. Let's say that instead. Yogan, you're probably right. I am jumping a little bit the gun here, but it's bad. It's very, very bad. Wouldn't you agree?
I'll agree it's bad. But this fight is definitely not over.
But here's our plea. If we're able to negotiate with Himsdale, would you be willing to put down your arms for a little bit around the Earthfire and help protect it, along with the Himsdale army? It's a big ask.
She's going to ponder for a moment and say, work side by side with Himsdale. I can consider it. I've made the offer to them several times before, but they've yet to join in my hunt for Olivia.
Well, what we are offering is we are offering to be the mediators for you. We have several brothers and sisters in both locations. We can come together, and if we can convince them for a ceasefire, we may be able to protect from Elena from stealing y'all's earth fire.
She's gonna nod and say, have the meeting on neutral grounds, the coastal lowlands of the desert to the north. If their emissaries agree to meet with ours, it can be negotiated.
Great, we'll see you there.
The emissaries that I would recommend, and I'm going to look at Tobias and say, would Tobias be able to broker that deal?
Tobias is going to roll a
and then he's going to go, Your Majesty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're asking her if Tobias would have the authority to negotiate for the Veil.
Correct.
She is going to... She's going to think for a moment and then look at Tobias and say, here in front of all these witnesses, as the guardian of Agram's Gambit, I give you all the authority as one of my wings. Tobias is going to stand and bow and say, thank you, Your Majesty. All right. Does anybody else want to say anything before she steps out?
Thanks for your cooperation. See you later.
You say that you're after Olivia, the Lost. Do you have any inkling on her current moves?
Elizabeth is going to shake her head and say, no, Archblight insurrectors and fanatics worshipping her are always popping up inside of the Veil. She's never forgiven me after... I don't doubt that I don't believe she's forgiven me after my betrayal to her hundreds of years ago. If she's back, whatever her objectives are, I'm sure vengeance against the Veil is very high on her priority list. She must be dealt with it by any means necessary.
Well, we believe she's working with our quarry, a former student of this university, along with Jim Prius and some others.
She's going to nod and say, our kind don't experience the afterlife. When we are destroyed, we just cease to exist anymore. Who we are and who we were, everything, it's lost. I can understand the great lengths that she goes to work with allies to protect what little bit of life she may or may not have.
I heard that she was killed centuries ago. How is she back now?
And she's gonna say, this is where our paths split. Where I sought preservation. She sought vengeance. She's sworn herself to a very powerful, dark god. One whose name is seldom whispered in this world today. Whatever magic it is that she commands now, Elizabeth shakes her head and says, "It's unfamiliar to me."
Oh, that's disconcerting.
I think
Can
it's
she-
disconcerting.
Can she even be killed?
Well, does she bleed?
Elizabeth is silent, looking down.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
Well, we could try severing her head from her shoulders or replacing her blood with some sort of venom.
She's an undead.
While creative, I don't think her blood is still flowing.
Yeah.
We can
Regardless,
do what Delilah does. We can turn her into a statue. You can separate a head from a statue.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I was kind of hoping for a more permanent method than petrification.
Well guarded and for long enough, petrification is as permanent as it needs to be.
You can still separate a head from a statue.
True. And depending on the type of the being, it may or may not be a problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
honestly speaking, guys, I think that's something we'll have to leave to Dila to take care of. I think that's above our pay grade.
Elizabeth's gonna speak up and say, I spoke to Dila extensively about her fight with Olivia. She was dead, destroyed, and cast away from this world. However, she's back. It likely wasn't Olivia's doing. I'm sure whatever force brought her back can be handled after we handle her.
Fair enough. One thing at a time.
Alright. She's going to say, if you're successful in convincing Heimsdale, send word via sending to me, Tobias. We'll speak again. She turns and leaves the room.
Before she goes, Practice asks her one last thing. We tend to teleport a lot, looking at Ogun. Would it be okay to get the Darkened Veil, a Darkened Veil sigil there where we can teleport safely to your location?
She gestures
I'm
to
sure Tobias knows it, but I would like your permission.
yeah. She's going to nod, and Tobias is going to say, I can share the sigil with you. She's going to speak up and say, when you come into the court, it is the Silver Sigil that's currently managing our teleportation services. Tobias is going to nod. Alright.
Sindri grins.
With that, she leaves.
Practice is going to look at Teak and say, what do you think, boss?
Teak is currently eating dinner.
Is that why Teak is laughing in the background?
No, Teak has a full mouth right now.
Mhm.
Teak will enter the room.
No, that was somebody in my background. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no worries.
How's the dinner, Teak? Does it taste good?
Bagel bites are great. Teak nods and says, "Doesn't look like the planet's changed much then, has it?"
No, but it helps. We got one confirmed for suing for peace. That's a major boon for us. We still need to contact Umiya. I don't know how we're going to convince Heimdall to lay their arms down for a while against the Darkened Veil. These guys have been entrenched in a very long time.
Well, I guess we need to...
It's only going to be the grace of God that's going to convince them to stop fighting for a hot second.
Which god?
Find out what motivates them. Just lay out the right bait. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it might be some, boar jerky.
So
why did that war start?
Practice is going to look at Sindri, and it's like, really, you don't know which god, you know?
There's lots of them.
Yes, but Fractus
like,
has a very narrow view of the world in that department.
So is Darkened Veil the first place to start? The closest we can get to them? Go talk?
There was a question directed at Tobias that I missed. I will not interrupt again. I just wanted it repeated, but it's fine.
Well, if you remember what it was, go ahead.
No, I don't. That's why I was just asking. It was on the half of my mind.
I didn't ask anything towards Tobias other than getting certain permissions from his queen.
Ogun asks, how did the war start? Was that directed at Tobias? And
yes.
The war between who?
The war between the Darkened Veil and Heimdall.
Tobias, who is a historian, is going to speak up and say,
And actually, if you want me to just roll for that, since Ogun's pretty good with the history as well.
Yeah, you can roll a history check. If I'll just give this information directly to Ogun. So you ask him about it as he starts speaking. He's gonna get like 2 sentences in, and then you remember like, oh wait, when I was like a arcanist working on my attribution, I took a class on this. So the war between the Darkened Veil and Heimdall has a lot of blood behind it. When the Terrai were first created, it was believed that they should all be destroyed. They were far too dangerous to keep on Cedal. And the goddess, the goddess Umiya, before she was a god, was a naval captain, was the only one, was one of the major people preaching that the Terrai could think, and they were sentient, and they deserved to be treated with some sort of respect. The decision was that the Galcan as a continent had been discovered, but nobody knew much about it. The decision was that they would go over to the Heimdall colonies, which were colonies of Arter Sarai at that time, and work in the colonies as slaves until a better decision could be made about them. Nobody knew that it was so incredibly difficult for Terrai to transport them over running water. And out of the hundreds of thousands that were transported via ship, only thousands of them made the journey, because transporting undead over running water is horrific. During the journey, that is when the undead rebelled and tried to have a coup, and that is where Umiya came from. They tried to kill her, and that was when she ascended to being the goddess of the sea, when they threw her overboard. Using her new ascended powers, she transported them all from the middle of the ocean to the shores of Heimsdale. From there, the undead were used as slaves in Heimsdale until Olivia, the Shatterer, was revealed to be alive and working with a evil god named Gendoi. He taught her how to make very empowered undead, and she came and attacked some of the indigenous civilizations on Galkin, used the hordes of people she created to attack Heimsdale, and set her Terai people free. The Terai then began to rebel against Heimsdale into an all-out war. Eventually, it was a three-way war on the continent of Galkin between the indigenous people, the colonies of Heimsdale, and the rebelling undead. Heimsdale and the rebelling undead focused on the indigenous people, who were putting up quite a fight. After that faction was broken, the undead moved into their location, and then from there, they had access to the Earthfire that was on that continent. Olivia wanted to use the Earthfire to destroy Heimsdale, and Elizabeth was against it. At the Earthfire, Elizabeth betrayed her sister and fled into the desert. Her sister continued to wage all-out war on Heimsdale. She shattered Heimsdale and moved her campaign to the shores of Cedau. When she came to Cedau, that was where she was eventually stopped by the ascended god Valrir and Dila Winrona herself. Ever since then, though, Heimsdale has had a hatred for the undead. They hunt them with vitriol, and Elizabeth was one of the frontline generals leading the war against Heimsdale, and Elizabeth is also the leader of the Darken Vale. The two nations have a blood feud with each other that has lasted for 1,000 years.
So if it wasn't for a god interceding, they would have been overrun.
Yes. But yeah, and Sindri and Ogun are going to get that knowledge. I'm wondering if I'll give Ogun any extra knowledge for a nat 20. No, I think that about covers it. I will say if you have any clarifying questions, I will just answer them for you, just because Ogun rolled so well on that.
Well, who's currently in power there? Heimsdale?
Of Heimsdale, King Yorvin Rubystone, the Sword of the Sun and the Light Against Darkness. He is the oldest ruler he is the oldest mortal ruler inside of Ilderon. He is in a very venerable age, and he's been ruling his nation for 45 years straight.
Impressive for a man. So again, I ask, how are we going to get there to get an audience with this man? No, Jeff, we cannot hear you.
Yeah. Your mic is lighting up. Nope, he disconnected, and we'll see if he reconnects. Oh man, I wonder if he had any questions, and I just stormed over him.
I don't think you can really consider storming over him if...
Yeah. If he... we'll give him 2 minutes to see if he is able to reconnect. Because I know this Discord's been bugging out real weird.
We don't hear you yet, Jeff.
He's probably typing that it's and it's rerouting, trying to reconnect, yeah. Oh!
Okay, you can hear me now.
Hey! It's a Jeff!
Yay! Okay, so My questions real quick. So basically, 1,000 years ago, or when this whole thing started, this was really a slave rebellion, territory war, and Elizabeth refused to just outright destroy Heimsdale. Is that right?
Which angle of it?
Like right when it started.
Right when it started. No, when it started, she was destroying Heimsdale. She refused to use the Earthfire to destroy Heimsdale.
That's what I mean. Like, she
yes.
refused to use the nuke, basically.
Yes.
You know, the other part is the current king of Heimsdale, was he ever a frontline soldier?
Was he ever a frontline soldier? Let's see. I'm gonna pull up his thing. King Yorvin Ruby-Stone has expanded the rule of Heimsdale. Wise King, summarize, embrace. Oh, okay. King Yorvin's rule can be summarized by an embrace of all the characteristics of Heimsdale as a nation. I will say, yes, he was a soldier. Well, yeah, in his title, he's the Sword of the Sun and the Light Against Darkness. At one point, I will say he was a soldier. I've never really thought about it in depth, but it would make sense for him.
Okay.
The sole principle that moves King Ruby-Stone is the eternal hunt, and he never allows Heimsdale to relent in their goal to remove Terai from the face of Ilderon.
Okay, so he has plenty of probably very personal friends that have died in that fight.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Tobias, given the fact that this has been going on for 1,000 years and the King of Heimsdale is probably lost in very personal ways, I think the only way you're going to get a temporary peace out of this is to give him something, and it's got to be big.
Well, before we give him something, there has been a precedence of peace before, and that was when the fire god came and sued for peace. That's why I think our next step is to go talk to Mia to do the same thing. We have brothers and sisters in both places. We can manage this, I think.
I have the knowledge of such histories, but considering the amount of investment that king has in this war,
he might tell us no.
yeah, he very well likely will, I think. And it depends on how much respect he has for Umiya or whatever other god you can tell him to, to back down with.
But I don't think he would mess with the Four Ascended. This is too important.
Maybe. The thing is that the decision to follow a god's orders is in many ways a logical one, unless one is personally invested in that god. He has a very emotional reason to continue the war. Probably a lot of them.
Whereas
convincing someone, convincing someone under those circumstances is challenging at best.
Brandon, what's the main religion in Heimsdale?
In Heimsdale, it is the Given Wills.
Okay, so it's the same.
No, it is not.
No, it's the same as where we're at.
Yes.
Okay.
But the difference is they don't persecute people who don't practice the Given Wills. Like, worshippers of the Four Ascended exist and are allowed to exist freely there. They are not a religious nation. They're a military nation.
Do we know if the king
how big? How big of an influence does the Four Ascended have in Heimsdale?
Roll me a religion check for that, and Steve, you had a question.
Yes. Is the king known to worship any particular deity?
That one I will make you roll a history check for that too.
Okay.
Hey Rob, can you roll that?
I'll ask Ogun to think about that one with me. So go do that check.
Okay.
What was the check again?
Not that he's great at religion, but
Religion check for
History
Fractus and history for
oh, that's
Sindri.
right, history. My bad.
Should I get mine out there? Yeah.
All right.
Jeff sounds good.
So Sindri has not did much research on Heimsdale as a nation. Ogun's gonna think about it and say wait a second, isn't the noble family that Soyesa's from still alive inside of Heimsdale? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. They're probably political rivals. He probably would not worship Soyesa. So you don't know which religion he worships, but if it was between the two, Ogun feels like it would be the Given Wills. For Fractus, that check was for how much of an influence does the Four Ascended have there? Fractus can't remember, but Teak remembers one of the Four Ascended literally came out of a rival noble family to the throne inside of Heimsdale. Of just wait, so Yessa is the newest and youngest Ascended. Her family and lineage is still there. They would probably have some pomp and influence.
Either that or Amira, who works with wills.
Well, if that's the case, the question is can we put enough political power based on that?
Hey, Brandon.
Yes.
Another history check, I guess, probably for the internal structure and politics of Heimsdale. Is the king kind of like commander-in-chief and nobody gets to say anything else? Or is there more, do some of the other political factions have pull in that direction? Man, where's all those nat 20s when I'm trying to rip somebody's head off? This sucks.
All right.
Nice.
So you are going to know Heimsdale's system of governing is extremely outdated. Most nations in the world use some form of elected council or elected representatives. Heimsdale has a king and a royal lineage, and the throne is not passed down to whoever is best suited for it. It is passed down to whoever has the blood for it. That's their governing system. Then as far as the power the king holds, the king's word is ultimate and final. However, there are also lots of people in Heimsdale that have lots of power, and you also know that King Yorvin is smart enough to weave around those factions. In recent years, definitely because of his age, he has taken more of a advisory executive role of leadership in the nation, and the forces are commanded by the army is actually commanded by a commander that is not the king. I don't know what Sindri's history check was for.
Oh, it was just to back up Ogun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sindri
So
tells
Ogun's
Ogun
gonna-
things he knows.
Ogun's gonna kind of start to say something and go, it's complicated. Hang on a sec.
What about any
get out some.
advisors to the king?
Well, hang on. He's going to get out a sheet of, get out some extra paper, his writing gear, real quick, dip his quill, and sketch really fast. Like, okay, so here's the king, and here's this general over here, and here's this guy over there, and kind of like a tag cloud style. So he'll write them bigger when they have the ones that have more power, and the smaller ones have less power, and make notes for kind of like which direction they're aligned, and you know, what sort of things they're in charge of. Like the general will say, you know, military on it and all that kind of stuff. So basically, if you lean on this one, and this one, or get them to go with you, they can probably generate enough clout that the king will go, well, okay, this is probably wise for me to actually do it this way. Because he does walk the line. He'll tread that middle zone between, no, seriously, I'm the king, and not trying to hack off everybody. Does that make sense? Looking at everybody else.
Yeah, so these really big ones that you wrote on here are the people we need to influence. What do we know about them?
Not a damn thing. You guys realize you're talking about trying to stop a 1,000-year war in a country literally on the other side of the planet.
Well, we might as well just talk to a couple goddesses then, if it'll give us more clout.
Teak glances around and says, well, we were just at the bottom of an ocean, so...
No, Jeff, we can't.
No, we did when you did your whole explanation for a second there.
Yeah, we got your explanation.
Oh, did Jeff stop talking? That's unfortunate. Well, I'll wait till he rejoins.
This is really starting to hack me off.
All right,
Yeah.
now.
If it happens again, we can switch discords.
Well, it seems to be just me, so maybe I should be switching to my phone or something like that. I'm using my PC for sound right now, but we'll see. So I was going to say, or I did say, Ogun sort of switches into Professor mode and starts detailing the major factions of Heimsdale.
Yes.
To give everybody just like the brief version.
We heard that. We heard
Okay.
all the way up into you were Sindri suggested talking to the king, or the big ones, and you said the king knows to walk the line between them, and that was the last thing we heard you say.
Okay, so the last thing I said was, other side of the world is not really a problem. We may have, and then to go on, we may have fewer friends over there, but getting there is not the big deal. And we don't exactly have an army to move or anything like that, so, no problem.
It's not the factor of distance traveling, it's the we're nobodies over there.
Attempting to make a strategy here, not lower our morale.
We still have people. Never underestimate the fervor of faith. And practice is gonna say our next step is to visit Umi.
Why Umiya? That's not a goddess that should influence there. What is Suasa?
Sindri just suggested.
Practice is gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
Practice is going to get up and look at you like he's gonna stare you down because you're so short, and he's just like, I know you didn't mean that as an insult, but watch your tongue.
Oh, I see. You have a personal thing with her. Okay. But
Tobias is going to speak up and say they're devout of the water goddess. So yes, it's the fire. Their natures are opposite.
I mean, she might be able to advise us and give us some hints, but I don't think she's going to be a very huge influence in that particular part of the world, from what I understand, due to history. She actually kind of brought those.
Steve,
Folks.
Steve, there are people that are devout in for Mia in there. It's the 4 ascended, so it's all 4 of them.
Oh, okay.
It's not just the fire
Jeff,
god. Fire god is probably the most.
I'm so sorry, Jeff,
It's
but
still-
we cannot hear you.
Okay, let's try that other server. How do we do that?
Yeah, do you want to try switching servers, Jeff, and see if that helps? Let's see. I'm going to.
I don't have the other server there.
Yeah, I'm about to send it in Discord.
See if the phone works better.
Yeah, he's trying his phone first.
Okay. Oh, there we go. I can see your mic lighting up, Jeff, and then I also heard like feedback from me when I was talking. So
Okay, yeah, I had to switch it out of speakerphone mode. How's this?
I can hear you. Sound good?
Awesome. Yay, technology.
Okay, so Ogun, say so yes
so-
as opposed to the king. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
And it's personal and political. So pulling influence from that direction is going to create additional hurdles.
Okay. So then the goddess of nature or one of the ascended? Umia is one of them. That could move.
The only other thing I can think of is just impressing upon him the situation as far as, no, seriously, this is probably going to make the world end, and they may decide that you're in their way, or something like that.
Yeah, or at least break his country into 5 pieces or something when it all explodes.
We can try the diplomatic route.
We can also lie to him and say it's probably going to give a massive amount of power to the undead, and you will be crushed under their weight, or something like that.
Or we can promise him the head of Olivia. Though,
Maybe?
if I can interject, it's something I've been mulling over for a while now.
What's that?
I feel like we're going about this the wrong.
Okay. Personally, I think all this trying to get armies to stand in the way is not really going to help us, given their previous tactics completely got around the armies.
Yeah, that's part of my thought process there, where I'm coming from.
What else do you have?
We know where their base is.
Okay.
Elena's.
No, we don't.
It's one
We
of
have
the.
no clue where their base is. We know that it's in an area.
We know.
We have
one of-
clues.
Yeah, we have one of. I think we've determined 3 temples that it could be.
Oh, out on the Isles, right. Perhaps.
Why don't we just take the fight straight to them? If we can stop him, even if we can't kill Elena right away, taking out their leader would probably be the best thing possible. And who the hell is that?
That is Breath. As you're talking, she comes to your memory. That's the woman on the volcano who gave you the 2 names and said she wanted to help you guys find out where Genprius was hiding.
We also have the Gindenthel cult that said they'd be willing to help us. Not my preferred choice, but it is an option. I think taking out Genprius and the rest right where they are
Aren't
would
there
be...
8 of them total, including Genprius?
Well, there's less now because we've taken out Terror Cry. And we heard about one of the other ones. One of the lights in the area, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, was killed by the other group that was at that meeting.
Okay, so if all 6 that remain are present, can we handle that?
Elena is still hurt. We know that. We know that there's talk of another group going after some of the other ones. The one that can go through dimensions, the Tengu, I think they called him, or whatever. He typically if he's calling himself an Ascended, that means he's probably an Order. So
Seems
he
to me
wouldn't
like
be.
he has his own headquarters somewhere in that dimension he dragged her to.
So.
Shall we put it to a vote? You gotta do something.
I don't like leaving our earth fires unprotected.
That's fair, but it still takes a while it still takes a while to take an Earthfire, we know that. And the person who knew the most knowledge about doing so, we took down. They might have got her back, but I don't think she's in any condition to be doing something like that again right now.
Which is why I wanted to reinforce the earth fires while we had the time. I agree the armies are maybe not necessary, but the thing is we had armies that were against us, not with us. That's the difference. Plus, there's one other person we can enlist for aid, but I will need your help if we pull that card.
Why the mystery? Who do you mean?
He means Umiya. He wants me to use...
No, the Eye of the Mountain. He owes us. And unfortunately, you're the only one who's actually met him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he owes you. I don't think he's very...
You don't have to remind him you were the guy that tried to kill him.
But I think the way that the sending works is they know who I am.
Well, you're with our group. That's who you are.
I suggest we switch servers and give Jeff a chance.
Oh, did Jeff's mic cut out again?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up with him?
Back again. Sorry.
Are you
wanna...
on your Wi-Fi or are you on mobiles?
I'm on mobile still.
Do you want to try the other server, Jeff? Because
I'm game.
Okay, I think it's the Ilderon server because it's something about where these things are hosted. Okay, I'm gonna post a link in Group A, and then we can jump over there.
Okay.
Thank you.
What channel do you want to use, Brandon?
I posted it. If you click that, it should take you right into the Human Speak Here channel. And
Okay.
We'll take 4 minutes and let everybody switch over.
How's that, Jeff?
He just
Hmm.
bipped out. I wonder if he was going to...
I wonder if it's doing the same thing for him.
Oh, he didn't have permissions to speak because he wasn't a part of the channel.
Let's see. Everyone should
Who didn't have?
permissions to speak here. Because everybody else can speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he had to join the channel first fully before
Oh,
it allowed.
All right.
I'm in.
Legit. Okay, let's hope we get Jeff forever. Everybody's dream. Okay, so let's see. What card is that? So Breath, when I showed you her card, that was the lady on the volcano that gave you the information about where to start finding out where Jin Prius is hiding.
I think he meant to make a comment similar to what Sindri did about basically, well, who's that? You know,
Oh, okay.
who do you mean? She came around to say some you're of the mountain or something.
Eye of the mountain.
Plus, there's
Eyes and body parts lately.
plus we still run the chance practice. We don't actually know if he's been released from prison yet.
No, but it
Hey.
should have been enough time.
Prison breaks I can do, though.
Not crystal prisons.
Maybe.
Practice is going to look at you kind of with a puzzled expression and go, Hogan, don't you remember you were with us?
With you for what?
When I handed over the Eye of the Mountain to your girlfriend. And he's going to say that.
Oh, that one. Yeah, he's supposed to. I don't know if he's out yet, but he should be out real soon. If he's not already, I'd imagine he should be.
Okay. Do we want to go check on that guy? I mean, what's the decision here?
Yeah.
Sending is the only way to get a hold of him.
No,
Which
not
is why-
necessarily. There's also scrying.
Oh, we could do that. You guys can scry on him. We have the material to do it.
Yeah. Let me see.
But I think his druids would be real helpful if they report what's happening under the sea.
Well, actually, funny you mention that because I don't think the under the sea has been explored or traversed very well in the past, and I was thinking I was going to start that as my next line of research because, I don't think in druid circles or academic ones there's much of any knowledge of what's going on down there.
Well, if that's what you want to do, Hogan, here.
Well, that was a long-term plan, but, talking to the Eye of the Mountain should be relatively simple.
Well, think of this as an investment in your future endeavors, and I'll give you the orb from Elena.
Well, I like future endeavors, but honestly, it's the in-person part that's tricky, where you really have to sit and observe for a while.
Well, this thing makes it so you can stay down there as long as you want.
Scrying only lasts up to 10 minutes at a time.
Oh, I meant the under the ocean thing.
Oh yeah, that thing, yes. The problem is it's hard to see the critters in the area when you do that. Because
Hard
the
to
water
see,
around the
yeah.
edges is all
It
active and
blows
flopping
them
about
back.
and everything. I have other ideas. I can just be a water elemental down there for a while, and I don't think pressure and all that other cold and whatnot is going to be a problem. That's a theory. Haven't tested it yet.
Well,
I don't recommend a cape or cloak like mine.
Duly noted.
the
Hadn't planned on it, honestly.
we do know that Amiya's been down there. Again, another reason to talk to Amiya, which is why I had suggested it in the first place.
Yeah. Well, it certainly won't hurt because if nothing else, that's one of the other primary points to defend. Making sure she's thoroughly aware of it and we're able to engage on her behalf, that would be great.
You've been quiet through this whole thing, Teak. What's your take?
I say we act on what information we have. Sitting here is frustrating.
Agreed. Much as I like musing about history, I'd rather be making it.
Now there's something we can all agree on.
Okay, so
I think the time for talk is past. Let's do something.
agreed. So let's Hey Brandon.
Yes.
Having handed over that crystal, does that count as having met a target?
What are you talking about?
The Eye of the Mountain, for scrying purposes.
Yeah, are you trying to scry on Rendell, or are you trying to scry on the Eye of the Mountain?
The Eye of the Mountain.
Let me read imprisonment, because I'm pretty sure you could see him while he was in prison, but he looked like a speck in there. Which, if that is the case, I will count it. If it is not the case, then I will not count it.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Imprisonment. GHEF. Okay. I'm sorry you guys had to witness that brain part of how the alphabet works. Imprisonment. And it was a hedge prison that he was in. Hedge prison. The spell transport the target into a tiny demi-plane that is warded against teleportation and planar travel. The demi-plane can be a labyrinth, a cage, a tower, or similar confined structure, or the area of your choice. The special component of this version of the spell is a miniature representation of the prison made from jade. Let's see. You create the target must succeed as a creature. Divination, when you cast the spell, choose. Okay, and it does not say you can perceive the creature while it's in there. I thought there were some versions of it that you could, and apparently that's not one of them. I'm going to roll that Ogun had not met the Eye of the Mountain. That said,
Okay.
however, Soulmane is very familiar with him.
Right. Well, that was option 2, is cast scrying into the Ring of Spell Storing if Soulmane's attuned to it.
I'll need an hour to reattune to it. I had to unattune for the orb.
Okay.
But you can still, well, let me... Meta knowledge. Let's see if I have anything in there. I have a pass without a trace, so I would have to spend that. Oh,
And when
there's
you're done, I
also
can put that back. It's not a problem.
also a bless and a hex. Okay,
Those I can't help you with.
So I'll have to take an hour to attune to it, then just quick fire rapid cast off the spells to clear it out.
Okay.
Alright, so let's talk for an hour while he does that. No, I'm kidding. Is everybody comfortable with me fast forwarding through?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Alright. Coolly Ronies. Alright, so you guys are going to give you're going to give the Soulmane an hour of uninterrupted time. Eventually he is going to attune to it and cast through the rings, or cast through the spells, and then casting spell or scrying onto the ring gives him the ability to cast scrying. However, there is a spell component for scrying that requires you to have a mirror worth at least 1,000 gold or a scrying basin.
I believe Ogun has one, and if he doesn't, there's the scrying tower spot at the university.
Yeah, you guys have been using the university's one, so...
I thought somebody gave him one.
Yeah, if you have it recorded on your sheet, then yes, you do. If you don't, I was just going to move you guys to the tower.
Okay.
let me know, and I will tell you where you are at.
Yes, I have a scrying mirror on my sheet.
Okay. Yeah. Then Soulmane can use that one. All right. It is up to Soulmane. Soulmane has a 5th level spell in your ring. What do you want to do?
Well, never done this one before, so this will be new. I will cast Scrying on the Eye of the Mountain. Man who nearly killed me.
Okay, so it is going to use Ogin's spellcasting save and modifier, since he was the caster of the ray. You are familiar with the target, so he is going to take a -5 penalty to the roll against the save. What is Ogin's okay, 18? Cool. Alright, let's do this. I think I had him just as an art well, doesn't matter when he nat ones. Okay. He is going to fail that save. And you are going to see the Eye of the Mountain. He is in a temple, a very, very, very nice temple. Fractus and Teak looking on are going to recognize this as the Chantry of Concordance. It is the temple devoted to the ascended god of Wen. They identify it as being inside of Ardor Sarai. He is let's see, I'll roll him a percentage dive if he's doing anything important or if you catch him at a mundane time. He is he's in the library. He is finishing reading on a tome and closing it and handing it to a sage. And he picks up a torch and starts walking. After following him for 5 minutes, you see him go inside a chamber. The whole time this is happening, you can see not far off from him there are 2 knights following him. They stand outside the chamber. It doesn't look like they are friendly to him at all. He goes inside the chamber, and you're scrying. You continue to watch. Eventually, he lays down. He is old. He is asleep. Probably. Oh, he puts out the torch before he lays down.
Okay. Quick question. During any of this walking about or anything like that, were there any large trees seen out a window or in a courtyard or anything like that?
I'm remembering the layout of the Chantry of Concordance. From the chamber he would have been in, you would not have seen that. However, the party is aware of the Chantry of Concordance, and oh yeah, Ogin's the one casting teleport. I'll roll Tobias can teleport there, as Tobias has had extensive time inside of Ardor Sarai. Okay. But no, Ogin doesn't see any like trees he can like transport to.
Okay.
Yes, the mirror is black now for the rest of the scrying, as there's no light in his chamber.
Well, I had thought we would just send him a message and tell him he needs to be there, but we can visit him if you guys want.
He doesn't look like he has a choice to be someplace, honestly.
Yeah, he looks like he's being guarded. And
well, let's send him a message and find out if he needs a jailbreak, because
that's a good idea.
We're 6 and we can do 7, so it's not like we can't teleport him here.
Also true.
If he's in trouble.
I think that would go a long way to making him more favorable to any of our requests too.
Well, then he'd owe us twice. whether he wants to or not.
And of course, if he doesn't cooperate, we can easily send him back.
I'm not inclined to do that.
But he
don't-
doesn't know that.
No, but if he knows me by any kind of reputation, he will also probably know that I don't like imprisonment or slavery. So I am more likely to turn him loose someplace obscure with a promise
Just-
not to interfere or something like that.
Just mentioning possible leverage.
Oh, fair enough.
Be important.
Also, Soulmane, you might want to hang in the back. You know? I don't know how much you guys actually interacted with each other, but
I stabbed him quite a few times in the face.
then you want to hang really
Did he
back.
deserve it?
He was a giant crocodile chewing.
That didn't answer my question.
At the time, I thought so. I was being paid to do it.
Okay,
T.
so we're just gonna teleport the sleeping man here, or go get him? Or send a message first?
Well, let's send a message ASAP. Ogun, can you afford to lose that spell slot?
Actually, I'm not sure. So sending is not a spell I have access to, if I remember correctly.
Then practice is like, well, Tobias, I didn't want to do this, but your last sending, can we use it? That's you, Brendan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tobias's last sending. Let me check Tobias's spell sheet.
He had one spell slot to do it. It might be a higher spell slot.
I was gonna say I think he has a 6th level spell. Yeah, he has not been keeping up with his spells for today. So, yeah, I am just going to rule he can cast it in a 5th level spell slot.
Well, we know he casted it at least twice to talk to Elizabeth.
Okay, he might have 1/3 level then. I'm gonna put 1/3. I'm gonna give him all his 4th. Or I'm gonna give him all his 2nd and 1st level spells then. He will hold Soulmane's hand, place his spindly fingers on the ring. He whispers an incantation. You see the ring come alight with magic. He has cast sending into the ring.
Not sure we want Soulmane doing the talking on that one, but okay.
Unfortunately, I'm the only one who's
He's the only one that's
Tune
met
to
him.
the ring.
and familiar with them. As I have talked to him.
I didn't think you needed that much familiarity for sending off the top of my head, but whatever.
For sending,
and-
you kind of just need to know their name.
Oh, and here, and practice is going to touch Soulmane and say, "You are now an agent of the unrepentant."
All right, Soulmane becomes a light with light from magic from practice, and no, I'm kidding.
Magical transformation!
A, I thought there was needed two of. A, I thought there needed to be two of us. B, I don't think you have the authority.
I have the authority. The second one, Willow is in here in spirit.
All right, Soulmane, what do you do?
Okay. I'm gonna have to type this out.
If you want to talk, I will allow you to talk for 6 seconds, and if you go over 25, that's fine.
Okay. Alright, so before I send this, I'm asking him, does he need a jailbreak? And would he be willing to work with us? Is that correct?
But does
I
he
think
know
that's the
who
general
it
idea.
is? Will he know who sent it?
He'll know. It's part of the spell, I believe. Alright.
Yeah, here's the message in its mind. It recognizes you as the sender if it knows you.
Yeah.
Sounds like the gist of it.
Try to...
Practice is going to mutter a prayer to Mia.
Sorry, I'm just counting in my head real quick.
So, Soulmane. Hang on a sec. Before you do that,
Yeah.
let me check a couple things real quick. Oh shit, I can't do both. All right. Be persuasive. I think a gentle touch in this case will be good for you, and he'll throw enhanced ability for charisma. Just give advantage in case there's actually a charisma check.
Alright. Think I got it.
All right, hit me.
I know you know me. We can help you get out if you agree to help us defend the Earthfires from the woman who captured you. I know you hate me. You have the right to.
You are only hope.
Is that it?
Apologize. You could say I was paid and I was wrong.
All right, roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Would it be a straight roll with the
If enhanced ability gives you advantage, then yeah, it would be a straight roll.
Yes.
charisma checks? Okay, so persuasion.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good at charisma stuff, so
Cha-ching.
That's a pretty solid roll. All right. He's going to reply to your sending. You get these words in your mind. My nation lies teeter-tottering between war and destruction. My presence in the hands of my enemies or my gods determines that fate. Leave, I cannot. I don't know what spells a druid gets. I don't think he can just send you another sending.
Nope. Sending is not one of them. There are other ways of getting messages out, theoretically.
Yeah.
But
You'll get an animal messenger in 2 weeks.
Quick, to the nearest tree!
right?
Go.
he says he can't leave because of the war.
Ah, mother.
He'd probably have a lot more choice words for you if it.
It's a really difficult prison break, stopping a war, just get him to help us. Next
What was
turn.
Well,
Wait,
we
what were his exact words?
You're asking me, or are you asking Soulmane?
Soulmane.
And Soulmane's asking the god.
Okay, I already heard it. So if he repeats it, then I'll just roll with it. Just say that Soulmane repeats it, and I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he cut a deal, and he is stuck there. What country is it that he's potentially? What's his country?
He's an Ardorian,
Okay.
and they're currently fighting the country we're standing in.
Okay. Oh boy, back to politics. Here, I was hoping we would actually get to do something.
I think
Let's go talk to our goddess.
Yeah, well, I think it's time to, get somebody to cut a different deal that doesn't involve him being in prison.
Do you want to try talking to him in person?
It's tempting. I don't know if I can do that without breaking his deal.
Well, if he's in a chantry, then we can go in and just claim to be followers of the wills of the Ascended.
I like a lot of the disguises sometimes, but religiosity is not one of them.
You faked it pretty well in a few minutes earlier today.
Yeah.
Demand asylum.
Not to mention, if Tobias has another sending, I can just tell him we're there to talk in person.
Tobias points towards Teak and is going to say, we wouldn't have to disguise ourselves as followers of the will, or followers of the Ascended.
Oh, is that one of your temples?
The Chantry of Concordance is one of the 4 Ascended's temples.
Yeah.
It is the one devoted to the Wind God.
That's for Gale's song.
Yeah.
What kind of vulture-faced idea is it that you're going to cage a druid?
And then you keep
Seriously.
animals in cages.
Practice is gonna shrug and go, wasn't it me as well?
You can try talking to
Okay.
him in person. If we can't get him directly, maybe we can get some of the mountain wardens.
Okay, let's go talk to him in person, but I'll warn you right now that there may be some impromptu jailbreak going on because I'm seriously not happy with that situation.
We don't know if he's actually a prisoner or if he's there on his own accord.
He wasn't fighting real hard, so it sounds like he's there because of a deal, but that's my assumption, so I could be wrong.
We can go check. Doesn't
let's
hurt
do that.
to go ask.
Okay, let's go find out who his keeper is.
Our brethren be fairly
Before we go, I need to ask a serious question of all of our spellcasters here.
Okay.
Do any of you have the ability to disguise yourselves that you can give?
That I can give him?
No, me.
Oh, you. I can polymorph you. Not today, but...
I meant more like my hat used to do.
Oh.
Practice hands you back the hat and goes, here.
Well, that's going to be another hour before I can use that.
1 hour. I'm pulling, if you want to give me 2...
Practice just shakes his head and just pulls a hood over your head and just
I already have a hood.
tugs it down.
If you want to give me
something-
2 seconds, I'm pulling up Tobias' spell sheet. He doesn't have it on his character card, so I remember I had it as a sheet of paper.
This is something that never actually got discussed with you guys before. It's about the job that I was hired by Alina for before this whole thing started.
We know you tried to kill him.
Before that, how I first got introduced to Alina.
Oh. Practice
Did you hear-
is gonna look at you and go, what did you do?
Okay, story time. Go.
Did you hear about the attack at the Magnate's Keep that killed the previous Magnate?
Nope.
Enlighten us.
A few months ago, there was a huge attack on the keep. A bunch of different assassins and fighters and all sorts of things. I was one of the assassins that was there killing guards and causing a distraction. I don't know if any of them got a good look at me, or if any of the ones that did are still alive, but I haven't been in Arter Sarai since that day.
Yeah, disguise hat.
Practice is just like, I would just cover yourself in ash. You'll be fine.
Cover yourself in ash? Seriously? Is that actually a
Like, make
good disguise
yourself
technique?
I could cover him in. Grease,
Just make himself dirty. Make it hard to get his appearance.
make him hard to
it's not-
walk.
Well, I mean, I did wear my looking at his cloak and everything
I could
attire then,
wrap my rope around your head.
and obviously my face was covered, but it's still something that might be an issue.
Practice hands you his cloak that he used to wear, and say, "Here, you can just cover yourself with that."
Give me a few.
I mean, we could take another hour, but
I got disguise
time.
itself as an option, but
That's what I was looking for.
take preparing it.
Well, you
Well,
have to prepare it,
oh,
no.
so that'd take even longer.
I have to check. How long?
Are artificers prepared casters? I thought you knew all your spells at all times.
Ritual. Well, let's see. Spellcasting ability.
Alright, so the decision is to head to the Chantry if you guys can disguise Soulmane.
I think that's the idea. Yeah.
Alright, I'm down for it. I am...
Okay. Where is this chantry? How do we get there? Are we teleporting or what?
We could teleport.
Okay.
It's a pretty common area. I think I might have passed by it myself.
You prepare a list of artificer spells that are available to you to cast. Choosing from the artificer spell book. To do so, choose a number of artificer spells equal to your intelligence modifier plus half of the artificer level. Okay.
So yeah, you have to prepare your spells.
So yeah, that's 7.
Did you pick a bunch of spells to prepare, and did you include that one in it?
I have a selected amount prepared. Let me see if it's the right amount.
Where are you getting the notes for the Artificer from? From the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron?
I get it from the Artificer 2 2019 PDF.
Okay.
I think that's out of Unearthed Arcana.
UA-Artificer 2
Haha! I see it.
2019.
You are a prepared caster.
Okay.
Because in the original Artificer that they released, in the UA version I have, they are a spontaneous caster. But okay. Yes.
Right.
So yeah, if it takes you time to prepare it, it's probably best to go in and risk it.
Yeah, I'd have to do a long rest, which equals what?
8 hours.
8 hours.
Gotcha.
Criminals are ammunition.
Intelligence modifier.
I mean, you're a rogue. Roll a stealthy thing. You also have a disguise kit, probably, if you took the criminal background.
I have a criminal background, but I don't have the actual kit. I have the proficiency, just not the kit.
Why don't you have a kit? I thought with a proficiency you got the kit, unless you lost it along the way someplace.
Not all backgrounds give the kits they're proficient in.
Yeah, they just give the proficiencies.
Sailors don't get a free boat.
Oh, well, it's a pity. We could probably go get you a kit really fast.
Well, you are in the magical university. Do you go into the courtyard and start harassing students? Because I can roll you a percentage die on that. Because disguise self is not a very hard spell to know.
It looks to me like I actually have only 10 prepared spells, and I can have 12. So I could pick that as one.
Go for it. Sindri, we'll have it prepared.
Okay.
Alright, so what is the penultimate decision?
So if that's the case, we can have him cast it into my ring so I can cast it on myself.
Yeah, you might want to load a second shot of that one too while you're at it, just in case we run over the time limit.
Over the hour? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check here.
I'll be right back.
Sure.
Looks like I had one to spare, not two.
What?
I think I can pick and choose among the ones I've prepared, right? Like use it twice or 3 times. However many
Yeah. You can use
Yeah.
as many slots as you have available.
Okay.
And it's a first level, so you can, if you have 2 first level slots, you can just pump it in there 2 different times.
Yeah, I've got lots of slots.
All right. I have not heard Shelby talk in a second. Shelby, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So, what is the ultimate decision? Let me know what you guys are doing.
Load the ring and get going.
Okay, need a roll for that spell?
you don't need to roll.
No, you do
No.
not.
Somebody will actually. You should record your spell save DC because somebody else's intelligence check would roll against it if it comes up.
18.
18.
Cha-ching.
Okay. I'll write that down over here. All right. Who is casting this teleport? Oh, Tobias would have to. Well, actually, Ogun's viewed it. You viewed it on the mirror.
I thought Tobias had familiarity with the area.
He does. I think I rolled earlier. He doesn't have any 7th level spell slots.
Oh,
I don't know
all right.
what he's spent them on, but this is like a 3-session day so far.
Yeah, I was gonna look back and make sure I still had shots in the helm, charges in the helm.
So I put 2 disguised selves in the ring, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
When we get in the day since we used that.
the helm used 2 charges to teleport to the volcano and then back to Ilonagai. You guys slept. And then,
Yeah, on my notes, I was down to 0 charges as of back in August, and then the 27th of Hunter happened, and so it's been at least 1 dawn since then. I just rolled my recharge and got all 3 back.
Okay.
So it is loaded and ready to go. And if Tobias does not have better familiarity or can't do it, then Ogun's going to have to take a swing at it.
Oh, here we go again. This is gonna hurt.
Does your helm require attunement?
No. Or yes, it does.
He's already tuned, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
It
fine.
is.
All right.
say-
Who wants to roll the D100? Well, I guess Jeff would for
Yep.
teleporting. Hit me. I am going to say you are on the scene
Hopefully high is
casualty
good.
table.
Yeah, hopefully that's good.
High is good. 96. Ooh, you mishap 96 times. It was a good campaign. I'll see you guys later. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Nyah, nyah.
So the Group A has not been to Ardor. The last time this string of the story was together in Ardor, they were fleeing this very city from vampire lords that were hunting them, and they were told never to show their face in Ardor again. The only one...
Well, it's a good thing that
Yeah.
no one from that party is still here.
They're all dead, minus Soulmane, who had loose affiliation with them. Alright,
I wasn't a part of that. I
yeah.
only helped kill one of the vampires in a whole separate part of the country.
Wait, you mean we get to kill vampires too? Shit, why didn't you say so? This would have been plan A right away.
Alright, so, you guys are going to link hands, and Ogun cast teleportation from the helmet of...
I'm going to disguise myself right before we go.
Okay, how do you look?
You said one basically just like a generic Ardorian.
Okay. you guys are going to teleport into the library of the Chantry of Concordance. The Chantry of Concordance is made up of 3 massive towers, all connected to one another. The library is on the first floor and the smallest of the towers. Looking up in this place, the ceiling has a capped dome on top of it, and there are torches lining each walkway. There are books in a circle around this entire chamber, going possibly 80 feet into the air. Occasionally, you can see people with different torches moving about this chamber, grabbing books and reading them. There are what are the names? Sagites. That's the name of the entry-level clerics who are filing these and adding more to this collection. You can see the hall that leads deeper into the chantry, that leads likely towards the room where the Eye of the Mountain is resting in.
Should I go off on my own to try to get a hold of him while you guys keep these people distracted?
Oh yeah, let's see if you guys make a scene.
If we don't make a scene, Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
Practice is going to go up to one of the...
I will describe how you teleport in. You do make a scene. I rolled a 98 on a percentage die for you. You guys are going to teleport on a group of Sagites as they are carrying stacks of books into this library. Literally onto their space, knocking over 3 of them, the books tumbling. And let's go to more appropriate music. They are going to look up at you from the floor and say, "Oh, by Gale's name!"
Oh, sorry. My tread is entirely too quiet these days. I've been used to walking in the forest. Here, stand up.
Sindri will offer a hand once well.
Practice is going to help, and he's going to say, "Greetings, brother. We are here on important business. Can we talk to your superior?"
He's going to nod and say, "My immediate superior or the ocular?"
Practice just says yes.
Yeah, he's going to look at the lot of you and say, "Yes, wait here, I'll fetch the ocular." The other Sagites around him are going to start picking up his books.
Brandon.
Yes.
Can I duck behind a shelf real quick, start stealthing towards the Eye of the Mountain's room?
Yeah, this place isn't super well lit. You can go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
I don't know why it's rolling with advantage. I rolled a 1, but because of my thing, it's a 25.
Alright. That's a lot
Fuck.
for these guys to beat. That is an absolute lot. Alright.
Practice shakes his head because he saw the whole thing.
Yeah. Alright, so they are going to run off and fetch the ocular. Who... Let's roll him a percentage die if he's doing anything important now. That's kind of... Ooh, I gotta roll you guys one more percentage die. Okay, cool. Alright, is everybody comfortable with handling Soulmane first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so...
This is going to be the last time you saw him, so feel good that you saw him sneak away.
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
So, I'm not going to describe it, or make Soulmane, roll anything to find the chamber. You watched him for, 10 minutes on the mirror, so you can pretty much repeat his path. Weaving through these smaller corridors of the first floor, You are going to get to a hallway with torches lit. You see there is one man in full armor. He is sitting on a chair. He is jovially joking with another man. He has something in his hand that he's throwing up and down. The other man is leaning against the wall, looking towards the door of the Eye of the Mountain. They do not notice you. And even though they rolled ridiculously low on their stealth check, there is no way for you to get into this door without them noticing you, if that makes sense. You have to walk in front of them and open the door.
Okay. Is there another room that I could slip into?
On this hallway, I'll roll you a d10. There are 9 open doors.
Alright. I want to slip into one that's on the same side of the wall.
Okay.
Like the same side of the building. And there's a window, I would presume, correct?
No, you're in the inner tower.
Okay, so there's no windows?
No, not in this part of the chambers. He is cooped up.
Pretty hard to hold a druid in a room with a window.
Okay. I'm going to use the other disguised self in my ring.
Alright.
I'm going to disguise myself to look like one of the guys we just fell upon.
Okay. You are able to do so.
And I'm going to slip back. Would I need to roll another stealth check so they don't notice me slipping out of the room? Since I did cast a spell.
Yes. Give me another. No, don't waste your time. You don't have to. They rolled a 1 and a 3 respectively on their perception checks.
Alright, so I'm going to slip out and make it look like I was coming running down the hall. And I'm going to go, quick, some people just came into the library on top of us. Make it look like I'm panting, like I've been running to get a little bit of help, see what's going on.
They're going to get up, they're going to look in that direction, and then they're going to point down the hall and say the Sage's room is right down this hall up 2 flights. We're here on the Magnate's orders. We can't leave this door.
Please, they just teleported in out of nowhere. I can watch the door until you get back.
The man in the chair is going to grumble and say, "It was my turn for a break. I'll handle this." He gestures for you to follow and starts walking down the hall.
Alright.
There is still one watching the door, though.
Okay.
He's going to say, "Just teleport it in, eh?"
Yeah.
Well, you know, this chantry, the one of the defining characteristics of it is freedom. They allow anybody to come and go in these chambers. Isn't necessarily a crime. You say they're threatening you?
Well, they just landed on top of us. I didn't know what else to do. I know you guys are guards.
He's gonna hold his hand and say, "Whoa, son, watch yourself. I'm a knight of the Magnate."
Pardons. It meant no disrespect.
He is gonna shrug, say, "None taken." And he's going to keep walking. After a few minutes, you guys get back to the party. The Sagite's back with the knight from the door. Likely isn't the Ocular. He's going to look at the party waiting, and he's going to say, You lot bumped into my friend here. Or, well, no, you wouldn't just... you lot bumped into this, Sagite. What's, your business in the Chantry?
I'm gonna stand behind him, but in clear view of Fractus, and just kind of give him a head salute, like, so he knows it's me.
Practice!
Practice is going to shake his head.
Roll me an investigation check against Sindri's disguise self.
It's an 18.
Practice is trained in investigation. This is one of the few things I believe in. All right.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Well, Rob rolled it for you, and you got an 18. So you are going to beat Sindri's check, and you're going to see the flicker of magic as Soulmane's form just kind of moves faintly. This is not the Sagite in front of you.
Practice is going to apologize to the knight and say, I apologize, brother. We come on urgent business. We did seem to cause a commotion, but we needed to speak with their superior. Are you him?
He shakes his head and says, "No, I'm watching somebody here seeking sanctuary inside of the Chantry."
Sanctuary. That is who actually we are wanting to talk to. We can talk to both, but I will wait for the Oculus, and we will probably be bothering you very shortly.
He's going to nod and say, and then keep. Well, how religious is this man? Because Fractus does have Umia's pendant on him. He is not he is not religious. Alright, great. Yeah, he's going to just kind of grumble and walk back down the hallway.
Sorry about that. I tried getting them to both come down here, but that didn't seem to work.
Apparently.
Practice is gonna say, apparently, brother. And just smile.
Sindri will go over and motion for him to bring his ear down so I can give him a suggestion.
To who?
The disguised one.
Soulmane.
Okay.
That rogue. That one.
And he'll whisper into Soulmane's ear, "Did you try blowing out a torch?"
They were standing right in front of the door. Even if I did that, they would still hear it go open and come rushing. I could have slipped by them 17 times and they wouldn't even noticed me. But getting in the door was a different story. There's no windows I could have climbed in through either.
Distraction and put out the lights. Just try it.
How big was the gap at the bottom of the door?
As you guys are discussing this, you're going to see...
In whispers.
Yeah, you're going to see, walking through this chamber, in the distance, the Sagite walking with the Ocular towards you.
I'll drop this guy's self.
Okay.
Kind of stepping in front of Ogun, so that way they can't... Or stepping behind a bookcase so they can't see me do it.
Okay, and you guys can continue your conversation. They're like a good 30 seconds away from you.
Yeah, but it'd still look really bad if the Sagite was seen talking to them while walking in with the Acolyte.
Yeah.
And to blow through both of them, but hopefully I won't draw too much attention here. Unless you got another one you can spare, Sindri.
It's at this moment the Ocular is with you. He is a man in long flowing green and blue robes. He has trousers on underneath them. The robes themselves are open and are lined with fur. He's going to introduce himself and say, I am Ocular Ataclon. I'm in charge of this chantry. When a young Sagite came running up to me and told me that how would he describe your group? Vicious looking mercenaries. Yeah. When a group of
We
mercenaries...
were very nice. We helped pick up the books and everything.
Yeah.
Vicious. Indeed.
Teleported into the chantry. I had to come see for myself. This is a holy site. All here are welcome. We prefer, though, if you use the front gates.
And Fractus is going to bow and say, "Much appreciated, brother." Brandon, is there like Catholics do the sign of the cross or anything? Is there anything that's specific to the Forest Enden?
Yeah, you can make a diamond with your fingers.
So he's going to make the diamond sign.
Okay.
And he's going to say, "We actually come here on important business. We are here to see the Eye of the Mountain."
He's going to nod and say, he's seeking sanctuary here. He's put the chantry in a difficult position, but we can no less ignore our faith as we can our magnate's orders. He's going to gesture to the hallway and start walking.
And Practice is going to say, "Magnate's orders." And can you elaborate? We do not wish to cause you ill will, brother.
He nods and says, the faction the Eye of the Mountain represents is an open rebellion against the Magnate. Ardor just narrowly avoided a civil war last month. However, at the cost of the civil war, we got something far, far worse. That said, the forces that seek to clash with each other have only been stalled. They're still amassing in distant lands.
Isn't the Eye of the Mountain in charge of that side? It sounds like he would tell them to go at peace.
He nods and says, he is one voice of many. However, the fact remains that he is still one of the most powerful generals they have in their arsenal. And any tactician is not going to let him simply walk out of the city. If he leaves the site, the Magnate's Knights will do everything in their power to rein him in. And thus he stays to keep the peace. The North won't attack while he's here.
We need his help.
The Magnate won't storm. Go ahead.
Practice interrupts him and says, "We need his help."
He's going to nod and say he's not one of my sages to command. His will is his own. He leads you through the hallways, turning. You see the door you saw on the scrying. The one guard is sitting, leaning against the wall with his chair kicked back. The other guard is leaning against the wall with his back on it. They are both in full plate mail. As the Ocular steps into the hallway, followed by you guys, they are both going to stand up straight. The Ocular is going to walk through the door and say, These individuals seek guidance from the Eye of the Mountain. And they're going to say, you're not allowed to permit him war counsel inside of these grounds. The Ocular shakes his hand and says, "No, they won't be removing him or counseling anything on the war. Just a request of aid."
And Practice is going to look at him and say, "You're welcome to join us."
The guard who didn't follow, or the knight who didn't follow earlier, is going to nod and step in. He opens the door. The eye of the mountain is laying down, and he is going to awaken. Well, not awaken. He was never asleep. He's going to exhale and sit up and say, "Hard to sleep with all this hurried rabble moving around outside the door. What is it, Ataclon?" The party piles into the room.
Soulmane goes in last.
Practice is going to look at him and say, "You should have more respect for someone who owes us his life."
He's going to grimace, and he is just in a brown just cloak for sleeping. Who knows what's on underneath there? And he's going to stand up and say, "Oh, you my life! I recognize one of the very assassins that put me in that damned crystal."
Well, yes, but
And
you don't recognize
Practice
someone
is-
who got you out of the crystal later.
Practice is going to open his hand and say, "You remember this?
At the
This
mention,
is the hand that snatched you out of the air as you tumbled to the ground to die. Show some respect."
at the mention of assassin, the knight's gonna look back at Soulmane and size Soulmane up and down before he stands back, pulls his spear off of his back, and says, "Damned, I recognize you! You were in the ambassador's quarters!" The Ocular, standing like in the middle of this, is going to say, "This is a holy site. Weapons are not drawn here."
If he doesn't back down, I'm gonna cast a spell.
He has not attacked.
All of you hold. He was paid and betrayed. His loyalties do not stand in the same direction anymore.
Indeed. The path to justice is a winding one.
And you've made a damn mess of it, but you got into a good place.
Roll me an investigation check, or a persuasion check. Teak can roll it, or Ogan can roll it. Whoever chooses to has advantage. One of you guys is giving the other a help.
Probably ought to let
Practice
Teak
is going to
do it.
go and sit down. Very nonchalant.
Oh, good. That's a natural one.
You have advantage.
With advantage.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a 26.
26 then.
All right. He is going to, like, you hear the leather of his gauntlets, because, you know, like, the underside of plate mail gauntlets have, like, that. You just hear that just, like, the way, you know, leather sounds when it's being crunched, as he tightens his grip around the spear, and then he's going to slam the butt of the spear down into the ground. Not putting it back on the strap on his back, holding it. The spear's head is pointed up, though. Where is his helmet when he needs it? He's going to stand down and say, if I could send word to Captain Tatum, I'd say we need another contingent of knights here waiting for when you leave. But our orders for the eye. The Ocular is going to say, "All hearts at rest, let us continue."
I don't think I've been in the room with this many people that want me dead in many, many years.
Practice has already sat down during this whole thing and say, Everybody just take a seat.
There aren't a lot of places to sit in this room. There's a table, there's the bed, and there's the floor. And let's see if there's a study chair. There are 2 study chairs here.
I'm sitting in one of them.
Okay. So, what? There's 6 of you, plus the 2 additional, the Ocular and the Knight. There's 8 of you. There are 4, 6, and 2 people on the bed. 2 people have to stand, because it's really awkward to sit next to the eye.
Sindri won't look to sit down since he's already going to be a kind of eye level of sitting people.
Okay. The Knight chooses to stand. The Ocular is going to take a seat.
Soulmane is...
Tobias takes a seat, too, in one of the comfy study chairs.
Soulmane is gonna climb some up on the wall and basically sit up against the wall using his spider climb shoes.
That's unsettling, especially when they already don't like you.
I figure if they don't like me already, I might as well just make it worse.
Okay. Alright. The eye is going to say, is going to speak up and say, if you've come to ask me to call off the warbands in the north, he shakes his head and says, those factions are composed of more than just my keepers.
No, we're not here to talk about your war.
I don't give a damn about your war. We have the world at stake. And Practice says, are you familiar with what happened to the Earthfires?
He nods and says, I've been brought up to speed. Or I've been informed by the Chantry.
Well, if you remember as you were falling through the air before I caught you, the Earthfires are gone. And we're trying to stop the people who are trying to destroy the world. We need your help. We need everybody's help. And he looks specifically at the Knight. We need to stop this petty fighting and protect.
The Eye of the Mountain is going to nod and say, and what is it that you would ask of me?
Well, there's several things. How many people can you muster?
He's going to say, I had 5,000 of my best keepers join the petitioners that headed south. From my count, from what's been informed to me, less than 700 of those still draw breath.
Well, what we need is actual scouts and spies. We need to know what's happening at the Earthfires. We're going to assault Elena at her base of operations, but we need to protect them. Can your druids get under the ocean?
He is going to shake his head and say, I don't command druids. The powers imbued are given to me, were given to me by the Ascended themselves.
Well, do you have any druid men?
Let us see. We'll roll him a percentage die. He is going to say, there were some among our ranks who learned the craft and learned the ways. Were taught of the elven circles. If I still have contact with them, He shakes his head and says, as long as I remain here, there remains a steady but uneasy peace. If I begin raiding the war camps in the north, you can see how that pressures the situation.
Well, I don't care if they read every goddamn word that you say. We need this done.
I think the tension would be reduced as long as they realize that these people are not mobilizing to fight in their current war.
They're not even going to be in the same country as them if we had our way. If anything, it would de-escalate the situation. Less men on the front lines.
Well, that may be a good way to get the other side to, say, commit equal numbers. Or comparable, at least.
In fact, if the Magnate will send men too, we can use their help too. And he just looks at the knight.
I know you're at war with each other, but how about you just work together?
So that the world doesn't end.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Sorry, did I mention that? That was kind of important.
All right. He is going to say, Keeper Elson is currently being held in the Magnate's dungeon. He's a war prisoner. But next to me, he was the most powerful druid in our ranks.
Well, we could do something like we did the last time. This sort of thing happened, kind of looking at Soulmane, and then at Teak. Have them potentially released in our custody for the duration of getting this problem fixed.
Not in jail?
I'm going nowhere near that camp right now.
Is there anybody not in jail? He is going to think for a minute and say, I don't know if Commander Garrett made it off of the mountainside. There was Keeper Davin. If anybody was able to flee that bloodbath, he would have been able to. There was a squire we brought with us to commit to the service. It was a young man by the name of Weston Rendell. From my understanding, he was not captured, and he was released into the Magnate's service to do as he pleased. However, he did not have the druidic powers you seek of, but Keeper Ration trained him. He's a talented scout.
Well, the difficulty is...
Practice is going to look at Ogun and say, what do you think?
Well,
I was hoping this was going to be a little bit easier than politics.
Unfortunately, I think we're stuck with it a little bit. I guess the only other thing is to get just enough leave to have him and whoever else we can get. These prisoners would probably be the easiest to get moving. And just say, here's the term, we need him out for this period of time. That's the best I've got. I mean, the ones that are out and about, that's a sparse force to try to add to any kind of undersea defense, considering what Elena was ready to throw at it the first time.
We'll probably need to go appeal to Miss Magnate.
Indeed.
Well, let's do it.
Alright, off to the palace.
Alright,
Hey guys,
yes.
can I ask a favor? Can I have a moment to speak with the Eye by myself? I will relinquish all my weapons to all of you, so you have no worries of me trying to do anything.
He's going to
I'll
growl
fight with it.
and say, I put you down once, I can do it again.
I
Yeah, you probably
understand.
could. Although if we hear sounds like you're about to crush his skull, we're gonna come in here. And we're gonna be
It's
across from it.
Teak. Teak. It's fine.
I'm just saying, you're an asset to the team, and I hate it when assets' skulls get crushed.
I can fix them, don't worry.
Crushed
I'm going
skulls.
to-
That's what you can fix?
Yes,
She
I can
begins
fix
to
that.
walk out the room.
I could fix that. He'd
Alright,
have a new
nice.
skull.
I'd
It might
love
be
to
shaped
see that.
different, but he could do it. I can do it.
I'm going to hand Fractus my rapier, my dagger, and my short bow with all my arrows.
Alright, yeah, after you do, I have Mountain's not any charge of the ocular. He's going to stand up and step out. The knight is going to be the most reluctant one. He's going to
You
say...
can search me if you want to make sure I have nothing on me.
He's going to say, I hear one wrong sound. He slams the butt of his spear into the ground. Then he steps out.
Sindri steps into the hall,
Alright, Tobias does also.
listening at the door.
I'm gonna obviously perch myself off the wall now.
He's going to say, he's going to be the first to speak up and say, I bear you or your lot no ill yoke. I sent you with my best keepers to escort you to Northwind.
Yes, and those people up there, bargained for my freedom from there as long as I help them take down the woman who imprisoned you. The beast that was with them is dead. We killed him. I want you to understand something. I know you hate me, even if you say you show me ill will. You killed some of my friends that day, but we deserved it. I can't apologize enough for what happened. But I should tell you, the one who made the bargain to get you released from that thing was me. And now I'm cursed. If I do something, I will be forever lose my ability to speak. That's the length I went to, because I remorsed what I did so much. If you can, help these people. We want to stop the person who tricked us, left me for dead, tried to kill you, used us, caused my friends' deaths. Like I said, I know you do hate me. And if you could, you'd probably turn into another crocodile and tear my head off right now if you could.
He's standing, by the way. He's going to gesture for you to step forward.
I do.
He begins casting a spell and places a hand on you. As he does, you become enveloped in a very warm feeling as you feel just the fires of your eyes come alight, the spark of your soul. This magic starts taking a hold of you, and before it can just form any sort of seal, something pressing against it breaks it and shatters. There's a small gust of wind. He is going to shake his hand and say, "Whatever magic binds you is powerful.
Binds me.
Your curse, I cannot remove it."
Huh. That.
He's
I
Go ahead.
have no interest of removing it. It's my... I look at it as my penance for what I caused. I've done a lot of terrible things. That soldier out there recognizes me from the assault on the keep a few months back.
He is
I'm not saying I'm a good person. I never will be, and I never am. I'm trying to make amends for some of the things I've done.
He is going to exhale and say, "My role is not to provide guidance, but only to protect a path. And that path leads to the Earthfire. You'll have whatever aid I'm capable of mustering, and if that isn't any, should my gods call for it, you'll have every magical energy in my calling at your disposal." He's going to nod and say, "You and your lot killed keepers of mine too.
I know.
This isn't a place for either one of us to forgive one another or seek atonement, but we'll do what we must."
Every step forward is a new chance, right?
He nods and he is going to say, "Let's look at these date cards. Oh my gosh. Oh my god." So, you guys are on the 28th of Hunter. Group D is also on the 28th of Hunter. He's going to say, "Go and speak with my granddaughter about those prisoners' releases. Offer her this word. If Elson is not released on 10th day, I leave these places. Or I leave this place. And should that come, who knows what the forces in the north will do."
1 second. I'm actually going to write that down because that's going to be important in negotiations. If Elson is not released on 10. What day? What is it? It's
It is the 28th. It is 8th
Oh,
day.
so it's 8th day. That's right.
Alright, so, he is going to sit back down on his bed and say, "Now leave. I need my rest to recover my mind."
Soulmane is going to do a full 90-degree bow.
Alright.
To say, thank you. I hope one day you and I could have a rematch without our lives on the line.
He's gonna say, "I'm too old to spar with you." And,
I don't know, you left me pretty bloody the last time.
yeah, he's gonna lay down.
I'll walk out.
Alright. You weren't stealthy about that conversation. Stepping out of the door, the party is sitting there listening to you. The Ocular had no interest. He
I just kind of picture I open the door and they do the anime thing where they all fall in. You guys get a good show?
Yeah,
Let's
more or
get-
less.
Let's get out of here. Who's his granddaughter, though?
If I remember correctly, the current magnate, Miss Ariana Bertolf.
Makes sense.
Let's
go.
Yes. Okay, so you guys heading out of this place. I need to grab something. Do. Volo's Guide to Monsters! Soulmane!
Oh no.
You are followed as you start walking down the hallway.
I could
Um,
attribute something to that. I'll whisper to Soulmane, I could turn you into gas.
it's not a vicious follow, but the knight with the spear is behind you, and he is going to say, "Hey, you!"
Soulmane's just gonna turn around and hold his hands out in front of him.
He's going to say,
Teak lets a hand go to her Morningstar, but just
Teak.
leave it there.
Take.
"You killed 2 of my charges back in the month of Father. I know you're you're moving about now with the unrepentant, but still, I want an honor duel with you."
Right now?
He nods.
We better go outside. Not here in the holy place.
And he's like, "Yes, of course, in the courtyard."
We got time, guys?
Teak
I don't-
goes, he doesn't look like he'll take too much time.
You have 2 minutes. How about that?
Eh. I don't mind. If it'll make you feel better. What are the stipulations?
He's gonna say the new rules are the rules of the new tradition, not to the death.
Any weapon allowed?
He's going to nod and say, "Dueling swords or dueling canes?"
Which of those would be considered a finesse?
They both count as long swords and short swords.
I'll take
The cane is a finesse. It counts as a short sword.
I'll look at him and say, if you want to use the dueling sword, you're more than welcome to. I'll do a cane.
He's going to following you outside. He's going to say, "I lose. If I lose, I'll go to the guard captain. Do what I can. Get your name scrubbed clean around the castle. You lose, you commit a year of service."
Fine, but I will throw in the stipulation: the year of service starts after my mission is completed. Taken down
He
Oblina and-
nods. Roll me a history check. That's for free.
11.
Hmm.
I'm not super duper smart.
Yeah, the commit to the service is some type of Ardorian tradition. You're not exactly sure the details of it. But, yeah, sure, whatever.
So, hang on. Ogun's hanging around for that one. Can I get that history check as well?
I will allow it, but I'm also going to move it to hard for Ogun, just because... or I'm going to move it to very hard for Ogun, because Soulmane is Ardorian. Or not Ardorian, but, you know, he's lived in Ardor for some time. Anthropology
Well, I only
wasn't
got a
Ogun's,
15.
Yeah, study. Again, Ogun is going to know, like, wait, this is something dealing with, like, Ardorian noble houses. What? Is Soulmane noble? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know Ardorian traditions. Alright. He takes you outside. You guys are in the courtyard in the night you're in the courtyard of the palace district of a district of town called Arigard. This party has not been here before, so I'll describe it real quick. If you see this area right here, you are in this courtyard. On one side of you, the castle of Zenith Rise is towering above this district, and then almost rising equally high into the sky. On the north side of this, I said courtyard, but I meant town square. On the north side of the square is going to be the Chantry of Concordance that you walked out of, and to the south is going to be another collection of towers and buildings, which is the Chantry of Discipline. The Chantry is devoted to the air god and the fire god, respectively. In the middle of this area is going to be an elaborate fountain, denoting their symbol, or rather the symbol of the Four Ascended. As you guys begin to circle, this guard is going to produce the canes. People are going to start giving you a wide berth, recognizing the beginnings of an honor duel.
I'm gonna just look back at the rest of the party, and I'm just gonna look at him and say, under no circumstances are you guys to get involved in this in any way, shape, or form.
Look, I threw down the gauntlet a while ago. I think I know how these go.
Alright, and you said this is considered a short sword?
Yes, it is. Alright, roll me initiative. Well, actually, before you can roll initiative, but before you roll initiative, he is going to brandish his dueling cane, take it in a one-handed stance, and it looks like he's preparing to assault. He waits until you take the same stance.
Yeah, he goes first.
Alright.
I will take the stance.
He is going to, let's get some combat music going here. Are you guys ready to watch two men beat each other to death with canes? Or half to death with canes? It's just like a good old vacation to Ardor. Alright.
Basically, it is our Sarai traditions.
Alright.
Man, it's almost like that one time when Kieran was like, yeah, I'll fight you, and I was like, lol.
He is going to attack with the cane, rolling a 27 against your AC.
Oh, that'll hit.
I am just going to roll with dice in front of me because he makes a bunch of attacks. 8 plus 9 is 17 versus your AC, and then 16 plus 9 is going to be...
Yeah, those all hit.
Okay.
25.
Wait, the 17 hits?
Yeah, they all hit.
Okay. Luckily, he is not using a greatsword, which the NPC he's based off of uses, so it's significantly less damage. Alright, plus 66. Alright, you are going to take a total of 47 bludgeoning damage as he charges at you.
Alright, hold on.
Okay.
What is the first attack?
The first attack is going to be 4 plus 5 plus 5, so it's going to be 14 damage from the first attack. And I'll split these up. 14...
Well, the rest of them are fine, but I'm going to use Uncanny Dodge to half the first one. 14 to 7.
Okay, so hold on. Let me do this. 47. Oh, 40 total. Cool. Thanks, Rob. The best calculators here. All right, you take 40 points of damage as he charges at you, whacking left, right, coming up with coming down with another blow. He is relentless with this dueling cane. It is your turn.
All right. And I'll go in. Oh, that's not good for him.
It's a critical hit. There's nothing you can do about it.
Because I'm a swashbuckler, I don't need anyone near me. I get my sneak attack on one-on-one fights.
Alright, so let's see. Is that sneak rolled with critical?
I just rolled it twice,
Okay.
because I have it as a separate macro.
That's 50 points of damage from the sneak attack, plus 12, 62 damage. He is not bloodied. He is very close to it. Wait, 62. No, he is not bloodied. Alright. I guess I should keep up with his HP. Alright, he is going to take another round of the attack action. And I'm just going to roll it like this, and I'll add 9 to each of these. So it's going to be a hit. Does a 16 versus your AC hit?
16 does not.
Okay, it's going to be a hit and a hit. And he gets his bonus damage if he has more than half of his total HP remaining, which he does. Alright, he's going to roll 2d6. Oh, I'll roll these separate. He rolls 1d6 plus 5 plus 2d6. And then he rolls 1d6 plus 5 plus 2d6. Alright, you take...
I'm gonna cut the second one, so...
Alright, you take a total of 9 plus 12 is 21 points of damage. Is Soulman still up at, like, oh, yeah, that's only 5 points?
Yeah, I'm still up.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Alright.
bloodied now, but I'm still up.
Alright, he's almost bloodied himself. Just round for round with this dueling cane. It is your turn.
Alright. Go again. Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration to give myself advantage on this hit.
26 touches his AC. Well, and beyond touches his AC.
Alright, so there's the sneak. And
Alright.
there's the damage.
How much in total is that? That's 34 or 44. 44 onto the 62 you dealt is gonna be, good lord, is 106. Alright, he is bloodied. He is going to grit his teeth. He's going to substitute his first attack for a contested athletics check. He makes a trip attempt at you. He goes to swing, and instead of swinging at your head, he sweeps the cane around at your feet. You can try and avoid it with an acrobatics or a athletics check. Alright, he sends the last 2 attacks attacking you as normal. And I'm just going to add 9 to each of these rolls. Woo! Alright, he misses, and he hits! He rolls 2d6 plus 5, and he doesn't get his bonus because he's bloodied. Oh, he should have second winded. Alright, he deals 14 points of damage to you, and he uses a bonus action to second wind. His second wind is set in stone. He only gets 20 hit points back. It is your turn.
I'm gonna cut it in half to 7.
I don't know. It is definitely leaning in your favor, but I don't think Soulman has much HP left.
Alright, so it's a 19, because I don't have it on this one.
Yes. You can just click the attack of the one up above in the chat. 19 hits his AC. Wait,
Okay.
I mean his plate mail's magical plate mail plus 5.
There's the sneak.
This is cheating. You shouldn't get your sneak as a one-on-one as a rogue. That's
Is it great?
let's see. So he healed 20. So I'm just gonna take 20 off that and do 19 points of damage. 106 plus 19 is 125. He is not down yet. Alright. He's gotta go. The first 2 attacks are lethal, and the last one is non-lethal. Oof! I'm gonna roll him a critical fail on that. Oof! Alright. He's going to move to attack you. You are going to parry it, and his dueling cane is going to go flying out of his hand. It lands 10 or 5 feet away from him. He is going to pull out the gauntlets. I'm not going to re-roll those last 2 attacks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that second attack is a gauntleted attack as he punches you. His last attack is going to be a grapple attempt. Because the situation has changed. Alright, he attempts to grapple you.
His attempt is the 26.
Yes. That should be a disarming attack. That should be a disarming attempt. Yeah, I'm going to go with the grapple because I already said it, but logically he should have tried to disarm you. How cool would this be if the last couple hits of this were a slogfest?
Alright, so...
Go for it.
Nope. So it'd be a 25, so he still gets it.
Alright, you are considered grappled. Alright, it is your turn.
Alright, so attacks would be disadvantage.
Oh, there's no sneak attack whenever you have disadvantage. Let's go. All right. I doubt Soulmane's ability to deal the final bit. This guy's very bloody, by the way.
So I'm having a good old time watching this, making all kind of noise.
Alright, so it'd be an action to try to break free, correct?
Yes, yes it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can I make a suggestion? Or rather, I will let you play your own character. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna do Elegant Maneuver.
Alright, I have no idea what that does. Can you inform me?
Gives me advantage on my next dexterity check.
Okay, go for it.
It's a bonus action. So I'm gonna attempt to break the grapple.
Alright, it's a contested check, so he rolls it against you. Alright, come on, nat 20. Woo!
It's 25.
Oh, okay, he is going to fail that. Alright, yeah, you are able to slip out of his grip. That is your action. What do you do? You just stay there?
I'm gonna maneuver myself so I'm in between him and his dueling cane.
Alright, his next attack is a disarming attack at you on his turn. It is a contested check. It is a contested...
Strength, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if you can contest disarming attempts with acrobatics. Go ahead and roll a d20, and I will read real quick while you're clicking that roll, and I will let you know if you can. Grapple, shoving, disarming's in the DMG.
Yeah, he rolled so low, I don't think it matters.
Well, it does.
Well, if he can use acrobatics, he's trained in it, and it becomes a 25.
Well, that description also says the next check you make.
Well, I'd already made a check, which was my attempt to break free of the grapple on my turn.
Which is
So
why
I've
I'm
already-
saying, yeah, I don't think it'll apply regardless.
But my rogue ability, my not perilous skill,
Optional, I've got it. Optional rules on page 271 of the DMG. Disarm attempt. A creature... I just cheated you. A creature can use a weapon attack to knock a weapon or another item from the target's grasp. The attacker makes an attack roll contested by the target's strength, athletics, or dexterity acrobatics check. If the attacker wins the contest, the attack causes no damage or other ill effects, but the defender drops the weapon. That said, he does not have a weapon to make a weapon attack roll. An unarmed strike is not a weapon attack.
Well, if I can use my dexterity anyway, I mean...
Yeah, you're gonna pass it. I'm just letting you know for the future. Alright, he tries to punch you twice. I'm gonna add 9 to these. And he hits you once.
Yep.
He deals 5 points of damage.
5 points? I'll cut it in half to 2.
Alright, it's your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna smack him with my sword.
Okay, roll me... That's gonna miss. Sorry. Yeah, that damage doesn't matter. Is it lethal or non-lethal?
Non-lethal. This is not to the death.
Alright, you are going to bash him across the face. As like he's in his boxer stance, he goes for an uppercut like right at you, and as he's open, how do you knock him out?
I swing behind him when he takes a jab at me. I swing behind him, and just jab the blunt of the cane into the back of his neck.
All right, he crumples. He is unconscious. A couple people are going to start clapping. At this display. He'll wake up in 4 hours.
Sindri will jump up and down. Yeah! Woo!
Can I attempt to wake him up sooner?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Claps.
I'll say that since it was non-lethal damage, you can try and slap him awake. You can slap him awake, and he'll roll a Constitution save, which he's gonna pass. He's gonna come to on the ground. What? Hell of a swing you got.
There's a reason they hired me.
He
I'm
spits.
gonna reach out my.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna reach out my hand to help him up.
He's gonna get up. He spits blood out, and he's
Does he grab my hand when he?
Yes, he does.
All right, I'm gonna do healing hands for 14 points of healing as I pull him up.
Aw, that's nice. He's going to dust off his plate and say, "I'll keep my part of the honor duel. Her name's clean if you come back to the castle."
I'll give it some time.
So before you go off and try to clear his name, let me tell you why. And Ogun will give the short version of some of the recent, or some of the exploits since he got him out of jail.
Alright. After being regaled by stories of the Mad Wolf, or the Maddest Wolf,
Yes.
he is going to nod and say, "I'll do what I can," and he's heads back into the chantry. Alright,
Okay.
you guys want to go to the castle? Group A, Group D's not there. They're busy dying in a... They're busy dying in the street that you're on! Literally like 300 feet south of you!
Yeah, I was gonna say, Celebris and Dumont are being murdered, like, down the block.
At the same exact time!
It's too bad we can't jump in on that. That would be fun.
Gotta love Ardor. Celebris just gonna kind of rub his neck and wipe the blood off his mouth, and just like the rest. You guys mind if we take a nap for the night? That kind of hurt like hell.
Well, here. A little knitting wouldn't, or a little pulling those together wouldn't hurt you any, would it? I assume you're down a metric fuck ton of hit points.
He dealt at least like 80 damage to you.
Well, I cut a bunch of it, but I'm down to 31 of 101.
Teek's gonna pump all of her lay on hands for 55 into the soul.
Okay, I'll throw a Cure Wounds out of a 3rd level slot.
Alright, you guys can add up whatever that comes up to. So 55 plus
roll
3d8
it.
plus, wisdom. Alright, where does the party want to head?
Well, definitely the castle.
If we do that, I think I'm going to need another disguised self, because I don't think the rest of the knights, if they recognize me, will be as hospitable as that one.
Well, that's an option. It'll only last you an hour, or you can be gassed for an hour. Which do you prefer?
If you got enough for me to do another double round like before, that'd be beneficial.
Well, actually, I'm gonna roll a d4 on how close it is to shift change. When the guard was talking to you, he would have informed you guys, like, as you're going back and forth, like, okay, I can't get in there and do it until shift change, and I'm done here. It was an hour until shift change. Ogin's stories took up some time. You could feasibly just tell the guard, like, yo, let's go to the castle, you know, your other knight's there, the other knights are headed there, you'll be good. And the guard can clear your name. Or the knight can clear your name.
That would be better. I kind of need to clear myself a little bit. Although I could do something higher. I don't have to use that same.
No, it's fine, Chandra.
Alright. So is the decision the castle or the decision to sleep for the night?
I think the timing works out. I'll go for castle.
Yeah, castle. I'm gonna cast second level Cure Light Wounds on myself.
Can everybody go for 15 more minutes, or do you guys want to stop here?
I'm good.
15 is good.
Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, this group gets more places they've never gone, but boy have we been a lot.
I think this is the most well-traveled group of all of them.
Welcome to Zenith Rise. Boy, it would be great if you guys had something to denote yourselves as diplomats. Alright, so, heading into the center of the city, you are going to walk through, you're going to walk towards, from where you're currently at, the Watergate is the entranceway that you're going to be using.
So we're not waiting for the guard, which is like 20 minutes?
No, he's coming with you. He's coming with you. Yeah. He's coming with you. Alright. So, Zenith Rise. If you look there on to the right of the map, there's some pictures of inspiration as to how the castle is laid out. It is a series of connected towers and keeps. It is a very, very large, very large part of the Palace District, almost making up half of the entirety of the Palace District itself. Yes, stepping through the Watergate. The Watergate is habitually closed, and I'm just going to roll you guys in evens or odds if it's closed tonight. It is actually open right now as supplies are being brought into the Central Rise. Stepping behind these caravans that are being moved into the keep, you can see there are different metals and other armory supplies on these carts. And the guard, the knight is going to wave you by the guards outside. Each of the guards are going to take a moment and bow to this knight, placing a hand on their, or rather a fist over their chest and bowing very deeply. He is a nobleman. I'm trying to think if anybody else in Ardor has noble rank. Fractus doesn't, and Teak doesn't. Or if any of the other party is noble Ardorians. You guys are not. Alright. He is going to move you through the keep, and he's going to head towards the barracks. Outside you can see the lights of the keep on different torches in different rooms. It takes about 10 minutes in the barracks of him talking to the guard captain before the guard captain says, "Well, if Knight Captain Tatum allows it, and we respect the traditions of old and the traditions of you."
Wait, I'm sorry, Brandon. Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
This is Tatum?
No, this is there are two people in charge of the security of Zenith Rise. There's the guard captain, who is in charge of all the lower rank guards, which are the fodder you throw at, the charging bull. And there's the knight captain. The knight captain's in charge of people like Group D, like all of the Magnates Knights. This guy had 145 HP. He's not somebody you just recruit off the streets. The knights are the good ones. The guards are the fodder. Anyways, he clears your name with the guard captain. The guard captain is okay with it as long as Captain Tatum is. Captain Tatum arrested somebody earlier today. Is he even here? Alright, yes, Captain Tatum is here. And after that, he's going to lead you deeper into the castle. He's going to gesture to Central Rise and say, I'll go talk to Guard Captain Tatum and get the news spread around the Knights. None of the guards should hassle you, but we'll give this guy a name. Say, Guard Captain Inniskiff. Will be our Guard Captain Inniskiff's word should last until then.
Till then, I'll just stay out of sight. Pretty good at that.
All right, you guys are in the Central Rise of Ardor. Who would be manning this chamber right now? Yeah, I guess there would be a steward here. Just having meetings with probably different merchants. And different merchants and different nobles that need the magnate's attention at this hour of the night, because it is pretty late, going on 10 p.m.
Well, as we're just standing there, Solomon just kind of leans up against the wall, looks at the rest of the group. And my group thought I was crazy for learning to fight one-on-one.
Apparently that's a very necessary skill in this city.
More this country than this city, but yeah, more or less.
Where Alona Guy is known for their brains, Ardor is known for their brawn.
Yeah, I've seen some couples where beating each other senseless is practically flirting.
The tradition here is giving...
yeah, no, I remember. The tradition here is, in order to declare your loves for somebody, you make a sword, give it to them, and then that person goes and murders the shit out of something, and then comes back. True love, baptized in blood of something that didn't even know why you're killing it.
Solomon just kind of still leaning against the wall, rubs the back of his head. Yeah, it is.
Random slaughter?
You got one of those, don't you?
Random slaughter for love? What the hell?
At least we go out and kill something you can eat.
Yeah, seriously. Speaking of which, I'm pretty hungry.
Alright.
Around in his bag looking for some food.
I gotta say, the fact that I've able to walk through this city and only got in one fight so far is a miracle in and of itself.
Your group's goal is to get the Keeper released from the dungeon. How do you want to proceed with that?
Well, were we already at the magistrate's chambers?
You are in the Central Rise. You have been left to your own devices. The knight's not a diplomat. I feel like I can't give you any more information than that without the direction of how you guys want to proceed. Because there's 100 ways you could proceed. You can find out where the dungeon is and jailbreak him. You can try and find the highest ranking person and just be like, yo, release him. You can go and try and talk to the magnate. to.
I think we are discussed talking to the magnate, at
Yeah.
least.
The
And didn't we have a
magnate.
message for the magnate from the Eye of the Mountain?
You did.
Well, let's start with that.
So we seek her chambers out, her whatever she's doing.
You just let these people wander through.
Well, right now we're waiting for the clear so that way we don't have to worry about anything, correct?
I thought you already got that.
Well, we got one of them, but Captain Tatum is still the one who has to fully clear me.
I can totally disguise you. I don't mind.
All right.
I'm good now.
Roll me an investigation check, looking for the magnate.
Alright.
Practice would just ask the guard, say, hey, the captain guard, he's one of the higher ups. He's not the highest up, but he's just going to say, we need to talk to the magnate. Or the highest person we can talk to.
Can't Sindri just like say, I see her over there?
Yeah, okay. So, asking Captain Inniskiff, he's going to say, ho ho ho, you want a meeting with the magnate? I just assemble the guard here. Scheduling any meetings needs to be done through her council. Or when the council's not in session, the keep steward.
Well, who do we talk to?
In the Central Rise, let's look if this steward has ever been given a name. The party has never had a reason to talk to this person, so I don't know if I rolled them up. But I don't know if they exist from last season. Does the name Listelia mean anything to anybody?
In the deep recesses of my mind.
Yeah,
It sounds like the locals, but that's all I got.
for my notes of Ardor, I've got the name Listelia and Stewart and a star by it. So I'm just going to assume that's the star, or that star is for Zenith Rise, and this is the steward of this place. Listelia, 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 Listelia. Yeah, alright. Kyrus Riot is also a steward, but he's a steward for a different place. Okay, so, yeah, it's going to actually be a stewardess that is here. She is in a meeting with several merchants as you approach in Zenith Rise. This is the petitioner's chamber. She is sitting on a raised pedestal stage. And the merchants are all at long tables having a discussion. They are rabbling about... specifically, they'd be rabbling about Anadelia's tax. And say, High Councilwoman Renopal Surreal's tax is gonna drive us out of business. Why would any of us bring our trades inside of the capital? And if we go to Darindar, we could get half the prices on tariffs there. The steward is just writing and says, okay, your concerns will be noted. Another person joins in. It goes on like this for a while as you guys approach.
Do any of them have ruby pendants on?
Oh yeah, they do. Let's see. We'll roll a d10 plus a d6 of how many people are here. There are 8 here, and we will roll a d6 of how many of those 8 have ruby pendants. 4 have ruby pendants on. Half.
Soulmane is gonna tap Fractus on the shoulder with a grin.
Practice is just going to smile and pull out his ruby pendant.
You want to use that one, or do you want to use any kind of flashes?
Practice uses the chin point to yours.
Alright, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Soulmane's gonna approach some of the merchants that are causing a little bit of a ruckus.
Practice is going to say, "Gentlemen, gentlemen, we could have your attention." And then Practice is going to look at you.
Sindri speaks up at Og, and this looks boring.
If you gentlemen wouldn't mind, we would like to speak with the steward. It's kind of important.
Do you take out the pendant?
I open it up and show it through the cloak.
They are going to lean back, mouth agape at each other, and the four of them are going to say, "Yes, Your Grace!" Bowing and almost running out of this chamber. Looking at that scene, two of the merchants are going to say, "Curious, come!" Looking back at the stewardess, who's going to say, "We can't proceed without our counsel." The stewardess is going to say, "I will send your concerns to the magnate, and we can continue this forum another night." The other merchants are going to stand up, bow, and take off after their companions. You know that pendant is for the people who arrange assassinations, right?
Who better to have it than the actual assassin?
Well, I mean, this is probably who the merchants would want you to kill, so...
Sindri's snickering behind his hand now.
The Lacelia is going to stand up and say, "I don't see you on my ledger for tonight. What is your name?"
Practice is going to speak up and say, "We apologize, ma'am, for the interruption. We did come at last minute. My name is Fractus Hornfell. It's like the Sky Star, but with 2 L's. And we're here to, we need to talk to the magnate on a very important matter. And we were directed to talk to you first. This has the fate of the world and the fate of Arter in jeopardy."
Fate of the world. Fate of the world. Fate of the world. How does 8 a.m. tomorrow sound for you?
To speak with the magnate directly?
She nods.
We would like to do it a little bit earlier than that. If
Roll me
possible.
a persuasion check.
Rob,
I have faith in you, Rob.
Oh! There's something I failed to... No, I did not fail to mention anything. It is nighttime. Alright. 20 on the persuasion.
That...
How would you assist? I will allow it if you tell me how you assist.
I will come in and add a few words.
What do you say?
To emphasize it. The impending doom of the world, or something like that.
The impending doom of the world! As she's like checking her ledger of just like, I don't see impending doom on here. And, but yeah, at 20...
Yeah, like loudly, like obviously, like really jar her out of her like little mind of being a book person.
Yeah, 20, she's going to say, oh, well, if the world's at stake, we've already dealt with one world-ending catastrophe. What's another? She's
Practice is also going to say, besides, those guys would have talked your ear off all night. You wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
She's going to say, I will see if I can arrange a meeting with her inside of the Magnate's Keep. She gestures for you to follow her. And as if you do follow her, she leads you inside the Magnate's Keep. It is an empty throne room at this time.
Sure.
And she is going to she's going to tell you something. Oh, yeah, she's going to say most of the time the the knights are the ones who come to her with the end of the world threats. It's very strange for it to be coming from looking at Teak and Fractus, the unrepentant.
Well, we probably mean it then.
She nods and is going to go try and get an audience with Ariana. How long do you guys wait down here?
See, Sindri, that wasn't the boring part. This is the boring part.
Damn, you're right.
I just need to tell you guys, like, or if you tell me you just wait until, somebody comes, because obviously she's not going to let you wait down here forever.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get an answer.
Okay. Ooh.
Practice is going to play cards.
Okay.
If Sindri wants to play, he'll deal them in.
I'll play you.
Almost when you guys feel like you've been abandoned, like you've been waiting here for, like 40 minutes or so, eventually you are going to see two knights come, or you're going to see one knight come downstairs. He is a man dressed in blue and white armor, I believe. He's got a...
Preempt this for a second?
Go ahead.
I wanted to cast another disguise self into the ring for
Okay.
Soulmane.
Yeah, Soulmane.
Alright. He's going to come downstairs. He inspects the lot of you.
Oh no.
And he is after a moment going to look up the staircase and nod. There is another knight helping the magnate down the stairs. He's got long red hair, and he is not wearing any armor. Followed by celestial magnate Ariana Bertolf. And Listelia is going to step down in front of her.
And you about to Bertold us what she Bertold him?
Well, one thing you're going to notice is the magnate is actually very pregnant. This is not anything you guys have been instructed in. That's been happening. But she's been hiding it for a while. But it's like at that stage where it's no longer hideable.
Sindri's going to look from Oro to the magnate back to Oro.
Practice is definitely going to stand up and bow.
Listelia is going to say, introducing Her Grace, Celestial Magnate Ariana Bertolf, the Maphis Majesty. She's going to look back and say, you could have at least waited till I was on the throne. She walks to the throne and sits down, Oro and Tarum at her side. She's going to say, the fate of the world is at stake and you need Arter's help. She gestures for you to make your petition.
Practice is going to stand up and he's going to say, yeah, pretty much. And it's not going to be something you probably want to do. But we need your help. Are you familiar with the fact that the earth fires have been extinguished?
She nods and says, yes, I've talked to the Ascended God who ignited them. The very first one was stolen from within the borders of our nation. But this was long before I was magnate. Well, it was the night before I was magnate.
I was fixing to say, Brandon, didn't the stars shine that night? Practice is going to say, yeah, I remember that. It wasn't a pretty sight. We're chasing the person who's been extinguishing these earth fires, and we need help from Arter, from the Eye of the Mountain, from Himdall, and from the Darkened Veil. And anybody else we can throw against the forces of Elena.
She is going to nod and say, well, as it stands, my current plans are to crush Ililnagai in this pointless war that they started. Currently, they're emissaries of their country within our borders negotiating a ceasefire. If that happens, perhaps I could commit forces. But until then, I need every soldier at my command to defend our borders.
Well, what we need is spies, and we need scouts, and we need people at the Earthfires, the remaining Earthfires, to let us know if Elena comes. We're trying to combat them, and we need people we can trust. We've talked to the Eye of the Mountain, and he has advised that he has several people that can throw in with us. Unfortunately, they now reside in your dungeon. We ask humbly.
Oh, go ahead.
We ask humbly that you release these prisoners into our care, so that we may use them to help save the world. They will not be in Ardor's borders. They will not be here to continue their grievances towards you.
A call from the unrepentant to take prisoners. She's going to consider it. Say, and what assurance do I have of your motives? I can't just let such a powerful enemy asset walk free. I do know of your Chantry's teachings.
Well, as you know, I spoke directly, as I've already said, directly to the Eye of the Mountain. It would have been very easy to remove him from his place of security. That being said, Soulman, what did the Eye...
Ariana's going to stop you before you say it and say, my grandfather is a treasonous conspirator, and before you try and give me any words that he said, I've already been tried, or rather 2 of my family members have already tried to kill me. I'd advise you to use caution when dealing with him.
That may be, but as you know, we can use anybody in this fight against Elena. In fact, not all of us here are necessarily skirt the right end all the time. But that is what makes us strong, is that Umiya, in her grace, has given us this quest.
She's going to nod and say, take Keeper Elson. I keep Keeper. What is the second guy's name? She's going to say, I keep the other general in the dungeons here.
I believe
Despite-
that's the one.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, sorry. I was just saying, I believe that's the one he mentioned by name as his keeper, Elson.
And she's gonna nod and say, blood was drawn when I invited them in for peace talks. I won't execute a war criminal while the North is in open rebellion, but they will have to pay for their crimes. One I will allow to join the unrepentant.
I think that's more than fair, don't you guys?
Teak?
Teak shakes her head and says, Oh, sorry. Dozed off there for a second.
Well, I think that's what we came after.
All right.
Logan?
Sounds good.
I was
I
really
hope
hoping
you
for
talked
more
it
than
over.
that.
Well,
I believe.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anthony.
I believe Elson is the only one that can do the magic that we for.
All right. So we're going to end there for tonight. I ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's fine. Yeah, let's do. You guys, I feel like I should give you major experience just for leaving Sky's Reach.
I'm good with that.
At last.
Oh, I'm also going to give major experience for Soulmane, advancing his personal story. I'm going to give you guys minor experience for for using the Millionth amulet. What else happened tonight? The Eye of the Mountain. You guys talked to the Eye of the Mountain. I'll give you guys minor experience for learning that the Eye of the Mountain, the politics of Arter Sarai, of what's going on right now. It wasn't important to your guys' story.
Do I get combat experience for taking down a knight?
Do you want experience for that, and do you want to share it with the party? Are my two questions.
I'll share it.
Okay, I'll divide it. He wasn't very hard. He was a CR9 creature. Okay, so 2 ticks of minor and 2 ticks of major, 3,000, 1,500, 4,500 plus combat experience. Let me see what he was worth. 5,000 divided amongst how many of you are there?
6 of us.
Alexa, what's 5,000 divided by 6?
5,000 divided by 6 is 833.3333.
Okay, so 4,500. So it's going to be a total of 5,333 experience for tonight.
5,000.
5,333 experience for tonight. All right, and
Go ahead.
your next session is going to be on the 14th. I'm going to talk to Group D, and there is a very high chance that they will be walking into this very chamber as you guys are leaving. So if that happens, I will also invite you guys to join in on Group D's session this Saturday, and I'll keep you informed.
I'm already gonna be there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't know if I'll be there or not, you know.
Oh
My
yeah,
character survives.
half
So
of,
is your
half of this group is like already together. All right, I'm gonna end the broadcast there.
Oh God, that